65. You'll be out of there before too long. Traffic sponsored by NHTSA. If you speed, there are lots of sounds that you might hear, like the sound of your vehicle crashing, because eventually speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the Fives. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? It's true. 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's all because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you could avoid this with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. If you've saved at least $200,000 for retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-972-9172. Don't lose tens of thousands of dollars in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Good morning on this Friday. Beautiful weather here to wrap up the week. Sunny skies, a high of around 80. We are partly cloudy and comfortably cool overnight, a low down to 56. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
65 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 12th, and things that are trending this hour. Anne Hesh, she is expected not to survive the fiery crash that she was in last week. She is currently on life support, and her family has reported they will be turning it off. Also trending, Scott Peterson. There's a hearing to decide whether the convicted killer will get a new trial. And finally trending, Gladys Knight. There was a rumor that the PIP leader had passed away. She is, however, still with us. It is 7 minutes after 9. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And also in the studio, Matt Bear.
Hello.
Good morning.
You should be trending because you're about to do something that is both noble, admirable, and criminally insane. And I love this because you're doing it for charity. And if anybody doubts that you are the greatest human being walking the face of the free earth, what are you about to do to yourself?
Well, thank you for those kind words. I'm about to rappel down a 23-story building.
You're what? You're about to what?
Rappel down a 23-story building here in downtown Indianapolis. I know. I'm getting nervous.
Wait. Words that should not go together, Casey. Rappel and 23 stories. I feel like Bruce Willis rappelled down a similar sized built Nakatomi Plaza
with a fire hose.
Yes.
Right.
What do you mean rappel down a 23-story building?
Okay, here it is. They put this gear on you. And at the top of this building at Meridian, Ohio, you kind of like make your way down with all these safety straps. Until
like that's going to help you.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll be secure until you get to the bottom. The thing is, you got to get to the bottom and you got to do it while you're rappelling, because if you do it any other way, that's bad.
Why are you doing this? What's going on?
It's for the United Way of Central Indiana. It's called Rappel for a reason, Over the Edge. And it's for their basic needs fund. And when I say basic needs, we're talking about people that I know everybody's tight right now. It's inflation. It's killing us all. It's hurting me, and this is an opportunity for us, if you do have little to spare, to give it to people who don't have anything to spare right now. And we're talking about clothes. We're talking about shelter. We're talking about food, all of the basic needs. So when we raise what we have raised here this morning, It is special, and it stays local. It is a beautiful thing. I'm overwhelmed right now by the generosity.
You are literally going to leave here and go do this. I have donated to this. I think this is a great cause. Where and how, before I ask you about the logistics of what's about to happen to you, where can people donate on this?
I have the link up at Matt in Traffic on my Twitter account, also on my Facebook page, and you can just find that at Matt Barrett. It's very open.
Okay, so tell me about Propel. Ladies, his Twitter account is very open.
It's very open.
Does things for charity right there at the top, Casey. When you say Propel, what building is this? How does this work? Do they just they give you a rope and say good luck?
Jump, dude. The ground will break your fall.
Tell me what's about to happen.
Go. No, what you do is you climb the 23 stories and you take an elevator to the top and you do some training. And when you're done with the training, you kind of crawl up onto this catwalk.
What do you mean some training? What is some training?
Yeah, okay, it's a little bit of training. They kind of suspend you with the cables that you're going to have, and you kind of practice with the little grip thingy. You gotta have a good grip, and you kind of practice kind of going up and down a little bit and using your feet.
Is this today? Like you'll do some training today?
Yes, absolutely. Before the actual
because
crawl.
Casey, I feel like astronauts who go to the moon do some training.
Some training,
right.
just a little. I'm curious. You're wearing flip-flops right now. Is that the required gear?
I will change into my tennis shoes here shortly. They said no flip-flops. I said, can I wear flip-flops? No. Okay, all right. I can't vape either on the way down.
You did this before, though, right? Didn't you do this before?
Yeah, I did it a couple of years ago. It was a lot of fun. It's not 10-pin bowling. It isn't. It's something. If it wasn't for the cause, I don't think a lot of people would rappel down the building. Yeah. But again, it is so worthy and it is so incredible. And I tell you what, it's that first moment when you crawl off that catwalk. And you have to suspend yourself and hang until they tell you to say go.
Wasn't that what they says in the "I'm Too Sexy" video? Propel off the catwalk over the 23-story building.
Right said Fred, baby.
Yes, right said Fred. Matt Bear with us. Just a couple minutes left with him. He's getting ready to go propel himself off a 23-story building for the United Way. You can donate to this. I've done this. Encourage you to do it at Matt in Traffic on Twitter. They have the link there. Are you broadcasting this? Is someone filming for posterity?
This is going to be the fun stuff.
Oh, great.
I'm really excited about this. They're giving me one of those recording devices that the kids use, a GoPro.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to strap it to me, and I'm going to have all the views, everything going down the building, and I'm going to do a traffic report on my way down, the entire way down.
No way.
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk to you.
It's clear on the way down the building.
And I'm going to talk about things. I'm probably going to swear a lot, and then I'm going to give the video, and we're going to make a video out of it. So this is going to be awesome.
Go ahead.
Are you going to be wearing a hard hat?
Yes.
The GoPro's attached to?
Some sort of hard hat. I wanted to wear a traffic cone on my head. They said no. But you can wear, you're supposed to wear a hard hat, and then that's how they strap the GoPro on. Yeah. So I said, okay, obviously there's not going to be a lot of traffic here, so I'm probably going to talk about how I ate glue in the second grade or something. I don't know.
So you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You're going down the building.
This isn't a tandem jump.
It'll be recorded, and then will you post this somewhere where we can see it?
Absolutely. There is a link I shared about 10 minutes ago for the United Way, and it's on my Facebook page. It's at Matt in Traffic on Twitter, and that's where you can actually watch it live. And you can see me go down live. It should be about 10:30 here this morning.
Okay.
And those links are at Matt in Traffic right now. They're in a couple of spots, and you can watch this live as I go down. Yeah, it's going to be fun. You won't be able to hear me, but trust me, here in the next week or so, we're going to have a fun video with this coming out. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited.
At one point, I noticed that you were in second place as far as raising money, and you've put a little dent into that this
My
morning,
donation put him
you?
over the top.
Was it yours?
Yeah.
Excellent. But he can still use more donations.
I walked in with a briefcase full of pennies and said, you do with this whatever needs to be done.
Put these in your pockets as you propel down the building.
As I'm going to go down, I'm going to have a pocket full of change.
I literally walked in the other day and I went to Matt and I said, this is how lazy I am. I said, can I just give you the money?
Here's a 10.
I should have said sure.
And also donate, please.
Matt was like, no, they frown. I think the word you're looking for ends with ent, and any word that ends with ent, in this case, I think it'd be embezzlement. They frown on that. But you're winning now, right?
This is, I can't believe it. We have raised over $7,000
awesome.
for the United Way of Central Indiana. When I say we, it's everybody listening right now, and it's my family and my beloved coworkers, and everybody I'm fidgeting right now. I'm fidgeting with a screw because of what I'm about to do here. I am nervous.
The WIBC audio radiance loves you.
Well, and I love them. I'm so excited that that people would actually, especially when times are tough right now.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, they are with gas. And I said it earlier, inflation. And people have found a way to reach into their pockets and give something. So I'm overwhelmed by the generosity of that and the fact that that money is going to stay local. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
You still have time to donate. Matt in Traffic on Twitter. The link is right there. I think we even somehow conned, I guess he's still our current boss and owner, Jeff Smolian, into giving money. I think that's great.
Awesome.
And good luck. Mm-hmm. I hope we see you, I don't know,
soon.
Monday.
After?
Matt Bear, thank you, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
As kids everywhere lament going back to school. Just wait till they find out. The learning never stops. And this classroom encourages talking in class.
Some of these people need to take a civics class.
They claim to be the party of science.
The more we learn, the less the science is in their favor.
And we're always in session.
This is easy stuff. It's Economics 101.
This is 93 WIBC.
Meet Edwina. She loves summers in Indy, but hates to paint year after year, so she called Rhino Shield.
So over the years, I had to touch up the house. I just got to the point where I couldn't spend any more money on the outside of the house. And when I saw Rhino Shield, I thought that was the answer to my problem.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
I'd had painters here before, and it was usually quite a disaster with them leaving their equipment here and picking up things in the yard. But Rhino Shield was right on it.
Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
The gentleman said, if you're interested, give me a call. And I said, honestly, can you come tomorrow?
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Feeling offbeat? Franciscan Health's nationally recognized heart team can help keep the beat of your heart steady. If you've been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation or an irregular heartbeat, Franciscan's personalized approach to heart care can help you reduce your risk of stroke, heart failure, and other complications from AFib. So tune in, because the tempo of your heart matters. Find your heart's rhythm again by scheduling an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm. That's franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 38,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Imagine if McDonald's was always within reach. Chicken McNuggets, golden crispy fries, all in the palm of your hand. With the McDonald's app, you don't have to imagine. Exclusive deals on all your delicious favorites are just a tap away.
Did someone say free fries? Download the McDonald's app and get a large order of fries on us. Valid one time only through the last day of the month for first-time app users at participating McDonald's. May take up to 48 hours to appear in deals. Download and registration required.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Emma and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Got any heating and cooling concerns in Johnson County? Call Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. We can take care of any needs.
Just go to callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
On 93 WIBC.
So the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, had himself a big day yesterday, and we'll get into that and Trump and all of it in just a bit. With Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, 19 minutes after 9. But first, let's talk about the crazy stuff that Matt in traffic is doing.
So this is, okay, so I pondered this during the break, and we'll, like I said, we'll get to all the Trump stuff here coming up in just a little bit. Hello to everyone watching us in the YouTube chat. We love you. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button. And hello to everybody. Why am I looking at the camera? You can't see me. That is listening to us with a camera not attached. We love you as well, so thank you. So last segment, we had Matt on, and I think this is so great. Matt's done this before. He's going to do it again. He is a fearless
daredevil.
You can use daredevil. I'm going to use idiot, but he's a fearless idiot who's doing.
He's our very own Evel Knievel.
He's doing this for charity, which is great. He's propelling himself down a 23-story building in downtown Indianapolis today. For charity, raise money for the United Way. We give out all that information. We, think it's great. Everybody should donate, etc. So I prompted the question to you and Kevin.
Yeah,
Matt's doing this for charity. He's not getting anything out of this.
Right.
Is there any amount of money that someone could come to you and say, "Here is X amount of dollars. Will you?" And now you have to do what Matt Bear is about to do for no money for himself. What is your answer to that? A 23-story building. And you do get the same thing Matt gets with some sort of training, whatever he called that, etc.
Yeah, I think it would have to have at least 5 zeros. 10 grand? I'd do it.
You would go down a 23-story building for $10,000?
Well, I figure it's kind of like a roller coaster, right? Once you get over that big first hill and you get going, you just got to keep going. There's no way out of it. So once you get past that first catwalk leap, just scream and it's almost over.
Well, you're giving it up cheap. 10 grand?
Well, I figure there's safety harnesses. They're going to make sure that I'm not going to land on my face.
So this is...
that could pay for a really nice vacation.
Again, it comes back to, you're right, there is a reasonable security in the... a reasonable level of assurity in the security is what I was trying to say. Of this. However, it comes back to like what I talked about on an airplane. There's also, I recognize, a reasonable level of security that plane is not going to, I'm not going to die in a fiery crash on that plane.
Hopefully.
However, there is the chance that could happen.
Yeah,
and the risk reward for you of a 23-story building, like, what if something breaks?
Yeah, well, then...
What if the wind starts blowing? What if, I don't know how it all works.
So, well, then. And you know what? I say that, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking at... What building did he say? I know he said it was at Meridian in Ohio, but I'm looking at some of the tall buildings, and I'm actually questioning myself.
Well, the problem is, the problem here is the Salesforce building is so big, and it's right, like, just, we look right out our window, and you can...
23 floors
You can
is high.
see it there.
Yeah.
So every building looks small compared to the Salesforce building. Kevin, Casey's willing to give it up for 10 grand. What is your number? If someone came to you and said, here is X amount of dollars, you will now propel yourself off a 23-story building.
I would like $1 million.
That's more reasonable.
Also a key to the city of Indianapolis.
Oh, look at him.
See, this is a more reasonable demand for the risk versus reward. I think if someone came to you, it'd be hard to turn down $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're talking. Now I'm in the ballpark of what I would be willing to, because I have petrified of heights. I think it's part of why.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not so much afraid of heights as I am widths. But what's your number?
Well, I think that's a reasonable...
$1 million?
Settlement number. It's like those attorneys on TV. Have you had a horrific event happen to you? Well, propelling down a 23-story building is a horrific event. You're deserving of a reasonable settlement, and I think $1 million. Now, here's what would be the holdup for me. On the $1 million, if indeed it was $1 million I had to claim, that means that high tax Holcomb would get part of that.
Right.
That means the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, and the federal government would get part of that. And I could not stand the fact that they would be profiteering off of my deeds. So if it's $1 million,
You want it in cash.
I would want it $1 million in cash, and none of it goes to the government.
Yeah. So you're already doing the math that your $1 million is more like $600,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's not even the idea that taxes are taken out. It's the idea that those clowns would profiteer off of my hard work. So I would need that in writing, that none of this money will go to the government in any shape, form, or fashion.
Rob wants his money in unmarked bills in a briefcase. Well, Matt is doing it for free. In fact, he's doing it for the United Way of Central Indiana. It's a very noble thing that he's doing.
This is legit. This is actually a noble cause.
Yes.
We finally found a noble cause. And of course, those of you who are new to the program, who are not aware of what we're talking about, once the Summer of Love took place here in Indianapolis, our governor came out and said it was a noble cause. So,
okay. Well, this actually is.
Yes, this was way before you. You are not in any way indicted on what I just did there, but this is actually a noble cause.
Yeah, and we invite everybody to give if you can, and that's at Matt in Traffic on Twitter and also on his Facebook page. He has the link there, and I know yesterday he was around $1,000, and today he's already up to $7,000.
That's awesome.
Let's see. He's going to do this at 10:30, so in about an hour.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't get him up to $10,000.
Perfect.
Okay, that's the goal for today. Let's do it. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you for listening this morning.
Inflating prices aren't stopping anytime soon, and that kitchen or bath remodel you've been thinking about, if you wait any longer, it's just going to get more and more expensive. You need to be planning right now. Tony Katz for Boer Remodeling. Get in touch with Boer now to get on the schedule for 2023 and avoid some of those price increases. Boer Remodeling aims to be the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Boer Remodeling, BOOHER. Talk to BoerRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, honey.
Mom, I'm glad you figured out the video call. What's all that noise? Is it your connection?
No, just doing a few things to the house. Your room will soon be a fitness studio.
My room? What? Well, what's that noise? Is that your Wi-Fi?
Oh, that. Your father's taken up the electric guitar. We're remodeling the basement for his jam sessions.
Jam sessions? Mom, are you guys okay? That's a lot of changes.
I'm just making some upgrades, and it's the home equity line of credit from Lake City Bank. The low fixed rate is helping us get things checked off our list. Oh, hon, gotta go. The hot tub is here.
The what? Mom?
Use Lake City Bank's home equity line of credit for anything from remodels to guitar lessons. Learn more at lakecitybank.com. Call 888-522-2265 or visit a branch near you. Subject to credit approval and equal housing lender.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings, and rings. Breathtaking rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Welcome to Barrington Jewels. From timeless designs to impeccable craftsmanship, the enduring beauty of Barrington Jewels shines through every creation. At Barrington Jewels, find respect and honest pricing, superior service and accommodations. For birthdays, anniversaries, and just because. Find your treasure at Barrington Jewels, East 82nd in Indianapolis, and barringtonjewels.com.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
My name is Taylor McLean, and my brother saved 5 lives. In 2016, when my brother, Hoosier race car driver Brian Clausen, tragically died in a racing accident, he became a hero because of his decision to be an organ donor. That decision has inspired countless others to do the same.
He didn't just give somebody his heart. There were several people that were recipients of him, and that's powerful.
NASCAR champ Ryan Newman sat down with Indiana Donor Network and shared how signing up to be an organ donor is bigger than one person.
I mean, to think about what you can do for yourself is one thing, but what you can do for so many others is powerful. And I'm just proud to be a part of what Brian and his family had started in Indiana Donor Network and the Driven to Save Lives campaign.
Learn more or sign up as an organ donor at driventosavelives.org.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Will we get to see it? It's sunny and 67 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The warrant could be made public today. Fox's Eben Brown.
A federal magistrate could make public today both the warrant issued to the FBI allowing agents to enter and search Mar-a-Lago, the Palm Beach home of former President Donald Trump, as well as the itemized receipt of what was confiscated. Reports surfaced first in the Washington Post that some insider approached federal agents claiming nuclear secrets were not being guarded. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland Thursday claimed it was he who authorized seeking a warrant and conducting the raid. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The House is expected to pass the Senate-approved Inflation Reduction Act today, sending the bill to President Biden's desk. The bill is designed to fight climate change, extend health care coverage, and put hundreds of billions of dollars towards deficit reduction. Now the stock report. We're up at the opening bell. The Dow is up at 152 to 33,546. The Nasdaq is up 92 to 13,404, and the S&P 500 is up 23 to 4,233. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Is your retirement withdrawal strategy built for a looming recession? Do you know which accounts you should draw from first? What are common pitfalls? How can you minimize your tax bite? Join Edelman Financial Engines on Tuesday, August 16th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern for our timely virtual event, Recession and Your Retirement Withdrawal Strategy. You can register for free at planefe.com. We'll look at financial pitfalls to avoid and how to help make sure your financial plan is built to last. Whether it's sequence of withdrawals, when to start taking Social Security, or staying diversified, we'll help you understand the steps you can take to make sure your financial plan can work for you. Don't miss this important virtual event. Join us for Recession and Your Retirement Withdrawal Strategy on Tuesday, August 16th at 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. There's no cost to attend and no obligation. Register now at planefe.com. That's planefe.com. Edelman Financial Engines. From here forward.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, Business Electronics Recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You can have the king and queens down in New Orleans.
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that the Department of Justice had filed a request to unseal a search warrant related to the Mar-a-Lago raid, which he personally approved. The Justice Department asked a judge to make public the warrant, and so this guy is going to determine when and what is appropriate for the rest of the nation to know what they're looking for, right? Did you see the press release or the presser that he held? He kind of looked like he was a hostage.
There is so much going on right now, and it could evolve and change even while we're on the air.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, a couple things I forgot to tell you during the break. We will need the Whitney Houston music because we're going to do a dramatic reading here. Also, kudos to Kevin for coming out with the Henry Lee Summer bumper music, who, as you know, I put on the Mount Rushmore of Indiana musicians. And even though Henry Lee has had a bit of a rough life, there was a span there in the late 80s, maybe even into the early 90s, where he was one of the most talented people in all of music, and is from Brazil, Indiana. So kudos to Henry Lee Summer, and kudos to Kevin for picking Henry Lee Summer.
Thank you. Quick question.
Yes.
Do you call it Whitney Houston music?
I will always love you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Perfect. We're giving a precursor because I did a terrible job during this break of not preparing Kevin.
The fourth wall's coming down.
Is it not there?
I'm not seeing it right now.
All right. I'll look for it here in just a second. But okay, so here's what's going on right now in terms of Merrick Garland comes out yesterday, and basically this was done, don't kid yourself, this was done out of immense public pressure from both the Democrats. There was random confused acts of journalism taking place from the national media in some cases, and legal analysts saying, basically, you better have the Klopman diamond in there. You better walk out like Simba, on Lion King, holding it up, or this was an egregious abuse of power. And so I think he felt he had to come out and do this. And Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, the only Attorney General in the state of Indiana, or in the country, who may be more incompetent than our own Attorney General here, Todd Rokita, which we'll get into in a little bit, looked like, as you said, I thought it was a perfect analogy. He wanted to be anywhere but there. You know who he looked like? He looked like when old Colonel Parker Bray, the greatest snowman in the Indiana General Assembly, Rod Bray, came out at that abortion press conference when he was announcing what the abortion bill.
Ghost.
Yes, like he wanted to be anywhere but there. And this is crazy because we've got a little bit of audio here of this. He basically says nothing, divulges nothing, other than the fact that now we've got clarification. Okay, Garland signed off on the raid, which that was crazy before. It was all Christopher Wray, director of the FBI. The Biden Justice Department had no idea. So Garland has now admitted in this press conference, or it wasn't even really a press conference, I guess, announcement.
Speech, announcement.
I signed off on it. So there's no way Biden, to something of this magnitude, because it is the Biden Justice Department, can lie and say, I didn't know. There's no way the Attorney General is signing off on raiding the home of a former president, and they didn't. Mr. President, can we wake you from your afternoon nap? We're about to raid the home of Donald Trump. So other than that, and telling us how great the FBI was, we got nothing out of this.
There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken. Third, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves. I am honored to work alongside them. This is all I can say right now.
Go ahead. So,
I will not stand for it.
Notice how offended he is that someone would dare question the federal government. He's not going to tolerate that. Well, why don't you tell that to David Koresh and the Branch Davidians? Why don't you tell that to Randy Weaver's family and the folks at Ruby Ridge? Like they act like these are choir boys who have this long-standing track record of being honest and transparent and above board. And boy, the federal government would never kill innocent civilians to push a narrative. Boy, we'd never do that. Who are you to suggest that? There is a track record a mile long for almost 100 years now of the abuse of power from not only FBI, but federal agencies across the board, and weaponizing this government against its citizens.
By the way, it took more than 72 hours for him to come out and say anything. And okay, maybe 95% of the FBI have good intentions. But what about the Steele dossier? What about the ones who didn't stop Larry Nassar? Or the ones who were having an affair and texting each other saying, let's get Trump? What about the agents who didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton for having her own email server? Or what about the ones who haven't prosecuted Hunter Biden? So what about those guys? They're all good.
And so okay, real quick before we get to that, here is one of Trump's attorneys last night. She was on, I think it was Newsmax. Maybe it was Fox News. It doesn't matter. Anyway, talking about what happened at this raid and the way the FBI conducted themselves.
Trump's team has painstakingly gone through every single document at Mar-a-Lago in the storage room, put a padlock on the storage room, did everything that the Department of Justice asked them to do, and they didn't care. They still went in with a search warrant and just swarmed all over the property. I was banned from going in. I told them that I'm his attorney. There was another attorney at the property as well. We weren't even allowed inside the building at all, not even in areas where they weren't searching.
So that was on Fox. That was Lindsay Halligan. And there's now a lot of talk about this warrant, this affidavit, and Trump claims it was all a hoax to suggest the FBI agents were looking for documents related to nuclear weapons or nuclear codes that could have been in this safe.
And now the new deal is Garland has come out and said, well, we would like to unseal this warrant and the information related to it. It appears to be a giant game of chicken at this point.
Yeah.
And,
you go first. No, you go first. No, you go first.
And they thought, I mean, Trump is the wrong guy. It's like, remember in Lethal Weapon when Mel Gibson's the guy with the gun in his mouth? Mm-hmm. It's probably the wrong guy to mess with, right?
Yeah.
Trump is probably the wrong guy to dare to do something because they said, well, it's going to be in Trump's hands now. We, the federal government, are petitioning on the act of transparency to have this thing opened. And, well, now it will be in the hands of Donald Trump. And I think they thought, well, whatever it is, Trump won't want that to get out. I don't know why they thought trying to pin it on Trump not giving permission for it to be released was a good idea because, well, clearly Trump thinks it's a great idea because earlier on his Truth Social Media, he wrote this. There we go. It's been a long time since we played this. Not only will I not oppose the release of documents related to the un-American, unwarranted, and unnecessary raid and break-in of my home in Palm Beach, Florida, Mar-a-Lago, I am going a step further by encouraging the immediate release of those documents, even though they have been drawn up by radical left Democrats and possible further political opponents who have a strong and powerful vested interest in attacking me, much as they have done for the last 6 years. Just let it go for a second, Kevin. Get that up there. Okay, that's fine.
So Trump had until 3 o'clock today to object to any release, but here he is on his Truth Social saying, go ahead, encouraging, do it, release it.
So, and this is where you're sitting here going, okay, somebody is going to walk out of this looking wholly ridiculous. Because either this was, as the Trump people have described, that these documents were under lock and key, even if he wasn't supposed to have them. I'm sure every president ever, I mean, let's go back to the Clintons. They were moving furniture out of the White House. You think they didn't take some documents with them? That every president ever, from Bush to Obama to Clinton to Trump, and all points in between, took things out of the White House that somebody probably went, man, upon further review, you're not supposed to have those. Okay, here's how you hold them, or we'll arrange for the return of them, whatever. Nobody else's house got raided. So either there's something so highly egregious in there that they'll be able to produce this very easy, which if that was the case, I don't know why they didn't do it already, but they'll produce it, or this is a mistake of epic proportion, and the fact that Garland is in on it. You can't dump it off on some, appointed bureaucrat and, it was this idiot FBI director. It's the Biden Justice Department.
I really feel like if there is nothing there, and the way that Garland looked yesterday, if there's nothing there and they don't have anything, he really looked like the sacrificial lamb for the Biden administration.
Yeah, but that's where the problem comes in. You could do that if it were Christopher Wray, because it's the FBI. It's the Biden Justice Department. Biden, appoints the attorney general. There is no way that Joe Biden, as the chief law enforcement officer of this country, of which the president was not informed. Now, he's lied out of his ass for 5 years on the Hunter Biden stuff, and the media has largely let him get away with it. So maybe that's their theory is, well, we'll just lie the way we did about Hunter Biden, and that'll be fine. But there is no way that Joe Biden did not know that they were going in and what they were going in for. There's no way you can say that because Merrick Garland signed off on it.
Yeah. CDC came out with a big announcement yesterday, and we're going to get to that next from 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel Show Beer Sample Friday today. Dan Dockich will join us and the latest about the raid. That's today, 93 WIBC.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, McGowan Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact McGowan Brabender to learn more.
Old National Wealth Management is asking investors to get old. But first, people have questions.
Now, if I get old, will someone explain how bond prices and yields go in opposite directions?
Yes, your own wealth advisor is there to make everything clear.
No matter how many times I ask.
Absolutely.
Because I kind of ask a lot. I ask about 401ks, too.
We love questions.
Okay, put me in the old machine. I'm ready.
Introducing Old National Bank, where business relationships and results matter. Old National Bank. Get old. Member FDIC.
As a parent, you want the best education for your child. Choose Marian University Preparatory School for this school year. Their faith-based online private school is currently enrolling students in grades 6 through 9. Your child will benefit from their personalized college prep curriculum and supportive community. Financial aid is available through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. To learn more about the unique educational experience of Marian University Preparatory School, visit k12.com/Marian. That's k12.com/MARIAN.
Did you know 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income? It's true. 96% of Americans lose an average of $111,000 in Social Security income. And it's all because they claim their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you could avoid this with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. If you've saved at least $200,000 for retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-972-9172. Don't lose tens of thousands of dollars in Social Security income that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-972-9172. 317-972-9172.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Clean.
The CDC no longer recommends people quarantine themselves following exposure to someone with COVID-19.
Wait, what?
The CDC no longer recommends people quarantine if you've been exposed to someone with COVID-19. Also, they have removed the social distance recommendation of staying at least 6 feet away from others.
Wait, there's more?
Oh, there's more, too. Good morning. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So the CDC came out with some big announcements yesterday. You don't have to quarantine. You don't have to socially distance. They say that contact tracing, another hallmark during the pandemic, should be limited to just hospitals and high-risk groups.
Wait. Okay, so those first two are the ones I really want to talk about here.
Okay.
So you said what? The no more quarantining.
No more quarantining.
If you have been exposed to someone with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other thing?
No more social distancing.
Oh, no more 6 feet. Okay, so, and look, I am sure, as I have been throughout this entire process, accused of wanting to kill the elderly, the people with more than one comorbidity, I'm sure I'll be called a terrible, awful person. But I'm going to ask these questions. What has changed? Because I am told on a daily basis, including by my own government, who I know would never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, ever deceive me or politicize something as serious as a COVID, that this is still very real. It is still everywhere. It is still raging. Fauci telling me I should be wearing masks indoors. And so, Casey, my question to you is, if indeed all of that is true, and why would Joe Biden or the Democrats lie to me about that, then what has changed as far as these recommendations? I thought we were saving lives here. I thought we were all in this together. And now it appears that the CDC is agreeing with me. So I am anticipating a lengthy and heartfelt apology note that will be sent to my person for all the mean things. And I don't just mean by the CDC. I mean by all the liberals who hate to listen to this show and this radio station every single day and accuse me of all the awful things that now the CDC agrees with me. I am sure I will be flooded. You can send those letters. 40 Monument Circle. We're still here. I don't open any of the mail, so if you're going to try to get something over on me, somebody else is going to get it first. But I'm anticipating all sorts of I'm sorries because now the government is agreeing with me.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to get any note like that.
Why not? If someone is wrong, and especially they were vile and mean-spirited and awful, and not that that bothers me because, you know, the meaner you are to me, the more I like it. But you would think people with integrity, you know, especially being this wrong, apparently, because this must be an omission that they were wrong, that you would want to own up to that and say, I'm very sorry, Rob, for how awful we treated you for the last 2.5 years, because we now agree you were right. We were totally full of crap, and none of this ever worked.
Don't hold your breath on that.
Oh.
Notably, the agency's masking recommendations remain unchanged.
Oh. So the masks work.
Yeah, they're still recommending that the majority of Americans should be masking while indoors.
Well, now then this comes back to another question that I have, Casey, because that's the recommendation. But the failed former Surgeon General Jerome Adams, who couldn't run a Speedway gas station if his life depended on it, but yet somehow was put in charge of medicine, not only in the state for a while, but then in the federal government and healthcare, told me initially that I was not supposed to be buying and wearing a mask. And then changed his mind after finger wagging and scolding and was very mean-spirited on Twitter to people who were buying masks, then changed his mind and then started just blocking people on Twitter who would ever retweet that back to him and say, what has changed? I was a victim of such terrible behavior. So wait, so we are, which one am I supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe the failed former Surgeon General and then like Fauci in the emails, or am I supposed to believe the CDC that the masks work?
Well, most people don't trust the CDC. That's for sure. In the latest poll done, 48% don't trust the CDC. So half of Americans. So it doesn't matter what they say to a lot of people.
You know, and this pains me because you know how I hate being right. And, you know, I hate, you know, especially when the left is very rude and mean-spirited and very attack-oriented. I hate having to look at these people and say, nana, 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 ha, 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 ha. But I have to do that here because, again, I guess, we're right. Because I'm told by the administration, nothing has changed with COVID. But yet the CDC is changing the recommendations. And it's almost like, Casey, and I know a government-funded entity that is nothing but nameless, for the most part, nameless, faceless bureaucrats would never just pull things out of their ass and make it up as they go along. But it's almost like that is what has happened here throughout all of COVID.
There was this interesting article written in the Epoch Times, and in it, they said that the CDC is admitting it gave false information about a vaccine surveillance.
Oh.
So they were going to do a study on the effects that the vaccine had on inflammation of heart patients. And somebody asked through the Freedom of Information Act to see the results of that study. And then the CDC came out and said, well, we didn't actually do the study. So they lied. They said they were doing a test that they hadn't done.
Right.
And then the only reason it was found out was because of the Freedom of Information Act. And then this article got released the same day that they said you don't have to quarantine and distance.
It's really like we need the Bobs from Office Space. You ever seen the movie Office Space?
Yeah.
The Bobs, who people come in to, it's this company, if you've never seen the movie, that this company's going through transition changes, whatever, and they bring these two guys in and they just interview people, and their famous line is to people when they're interviewing, what is it that you say that you do here? And that's what we need with the CDC, because you said you were doing the test, but you didn't do the test. So what is it that you say that you do here? Like I had a friend, and this is how much the insanity still rages on in this country. I had a friend who was in media who was going to interview someone, and it was a lengthy trip to interview this person. And they are like halfway to interview this person. And this person that they're interviewing is a leftist, a big leftist, a prominent person. I'm not naming any names because I don't want to out anybody. And they're about halfway through the trip to go see this person. And the person decides to text them and go, hey, I should have asked this earlier, but are you vaccinated? So this is supposedly so important to this person that this is, you're going to wait until the person is halfway. It's an interstate trip to interview this person. Are you vaccinated? And then, despite the fact that they're sitting next to each other, like closer than you and I are sitting right now to interview, like basically shoulder to shoulder, they make the person interview them outside because, well, that makes them feel better. This is how stupid and indoctrinated a huge portion of our society still is. These people have lied to you from the beginning. Stop listening to them.
Still lying, by the way. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. Thank you for listening this morning. It's 93 WIBC.
The reality of owning property is that it can sometimes become a burden. Maybe you own a vacant, condemned, or foreclosed property. Maybe you need to move fast for work or a family emergency. Perhaps you inherited a home, got a divorce, or just can't maintain the home you currently have. Getting free of that burden with cash in hand is easier than you think. Enhanced Property Solutions makes it simple for you to sell your property fast for cash on the date you pick. Any condition. No realtors, no fees, no hassles. EnhancedPropertySolutions.com or call 317-676-2050.
So Rob and Kevin have stepped out of the studio, and while they're gone, I want to talk to the ladies. Hey, it's Casey Daniels, and if you're like me and you're into cars and you're into motorcycles, you need an awesome garage too. And Galaxy Concrete Coatings can help. Call them. Their number in Fishers, 317-751-9070. You can find them online at GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. They're going to turn your garage or any concrete space into a wonderful area that you're going to want to hang out in. Even the garage, ladies.
Imagine if McDonald's was always within reach. Chicken McNuggets, golden crispy fries, all in the palm of your hand. With the McDonald's app, you don't have to imagine. Exclusive deals on all your delicious favorites are just a tap away.
Did someone say free fries? Download the McDonald's app and get a large order of fries on us. Valid one time only through the last day of the month for first-time app users at participating McDonald's. May take up to 48 hours to appear in deals. Download and registration required.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard Air dealer. Owner Chris Wedekin sells the ductless Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, which is a great option to heat and cool individual spaces while blending into the decor.
You want your poker room to be dressed up, you could take a vinyl wrap and put on these. If you like the more modern look, they have styles in black, silver, and pearl white that would be more aesthetically pleasing for your rooms.
Find out more at AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
At Franciscan Health, we're inspired by what moves you and how you move through life. So if you're suffering from joint pain and want to get back to an active lifestyle, Franciscan Health Mooresville and Carmel, home to the Center for Hip and Knee Surgery, is your best move. Our world-renowned orthopedic surgeons offer the latest advancements in total joint replacement, including outpatient surgery. If you're ready to get moving with less pain, request an appointment at centerforhipandkneesurgery.org.
We're celebrating fun at the speed of summer at your Indiana State Fair. Your favorite summertime tradition is celebrating all things Indiana, including our automotive excellence in partnership with Tom Wood Automotive Group.
Today is Energize Indiana Day. See the majestic Percheron and Clydesdale horses, taking a thrilling show from the Flying Pools High Dive, and a free concert with Casey and the Sunshine Band. Tickets at IndianaStateFair.com.
Join us for 18 magical days and 4 fun-filled weekends of food, rides, animals, and more at your Indiana State Fair.
Guy Relford for Independent Safe Company located in Noblesville. You know, the worst time to buy insurance for your car is after you've had a wreck. Well, the worst time to buy a safe is after you've had a break-in or a fire that damages those things most important to you. And that's exactly why I made the decision to buy a quality American-made safe from my friends at Independent Safe Company. Whether it's to protect my firearms, my wife's jewelry, our important legal documents, our family heirlooms, whatever it might be, the best way to do that is with a quality American-made safe from Independent Safe Company. Another reason I went with Independent Safe Company is because I was a little worried about how I was going to get a large, heavy safe delivered and installed in my home. Well, the professionals at Independent Safe Company took all those potential headaches completely away, and I was thrilled with the process. So if you've made the decision to buy a quality American-made safe, check out my friends at Independence Liberty Safe, located in Noblesville, at independencelibertysafe.com, or give them a call at 317-214-1437. That's my friends at Independence Liberty Safe, located in Noblesville.
Your local news coming up in 2 minutes from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Democrats are ready to act on their own. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The House is expected to pass today a bill they claim will reduce inflation. Republicans say it'll do just the opposite, prompting Democratic Congressman Jim McGovern to say,
Republicans are cheering for inflation. Every day they come to this floor cheering for us to fail.
GOP Congressman Michael Burgess says they're being ignored.
No Republican has had any input into this travesty that we have in front of us today.
The bill aims to reduce prescription drug costs for seniors and incentivize us to use renewable energy to fight climate change. Funded in part by tax hikes on some corporations, Republicans say will be passed along to consumers. The search warrant that led to the FBI raid of the Trump home in Florida could be made public today after the former president says he encourages it, and the Justice Department okayed releasing it and
the itemized receipt of what was confiscated. Reports surfaced first in the Washington Post that some insider approached federal agents claiming nuclear secrets were not being guarded, though Trump today states via his social media platform Truth Social that such claims are, in his words, a hoax, just like Russia.
Fox's Eben Brown. 2 more buses carrying 89 more migrants arrived in New York City this morning, sent from Texas by Republican Governor Greg Abbott, who blames Democrat policies for a surge of migrants crossing the border illegally.
I know New Yorkers will not fall for Governor Abbott's trap. He's inciting anti-immigrant hatred, and we're going to resist that.
New York City Migrant Affairs Commissioner Manuel Castro. Texas has also bused migrants to Washington, D.C. They're mourning a deputy shot and killed early this morning in Raleigh, North Carolina.
We will find who's responsible for this loss.
Wake County Sheriff Gerald Baker. And for the second time in a few weeks, heavy rain has flooded parts of Las Vegas with water pouring into a few casinos. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Her friends are praying. Sunny and 69 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Officer Sierra Burton, shot Wednesday night in Richmond, is still critical. Chris Davis reports on how friends are supporting her.
My heart sank. It's devastating to our community.
Kathy Hillard grew up with Burton and owns a tavern in Richmond, talking to Wish TV.
Our police and fire and first responders, we have to support them, and it's upsetting.
As you might imagine, Burton's comrades on the police force share that sentiment. They posted pictures of their fellow officer and her K-9 partner around town and on their patrol cars. and are asking for your prayers for their friend. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A small plane that took off from Indiana crashed in northern West Virginia. It was Thursday evening. 3 people were killed. The plane had taken off from Bloomfield, Indiana earlier that afternoon. The FAA and the NTSB are investigating the crash. No cause of a home explosion in Evansville that killed 3 people yet, but Fire Chief Mike Conley says that they have an idea.
Intentional ignition source has been ruled out,
meaning it was likely an accident. Centerpoint Energy has also ruled out a gas leak as the cause. The Indianapolis Colts leaving for Buffalo today.
Good week of practice, ready to go to Buffalo and have a chance to, a lot of guys get an opportunity, and coaches as well, and show a good measuring stick of where we're at right now.
Kevin Bowen with 107.5 The Fan has been at Grand Park.
Matt Ryan is planning to play around a quarter, maybe less, depending on how many plays the starting offense gets. Following the trip to Buffalo, the Colts will return to Grand Park next Tuesday. They will have 6 practices left in training camp, with the Detroit Lions coming to Westfield for 2 practices next Wednesday and Thursday. Kevin Bowen, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Their preseason game against the Bills is at 4 tomorrow. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Just as you feel the effects of summertime heat, your house feels it too. Indiana Foundation Services knows this and is ready to help. With a lack of rain, the soil under your foundation shrinks and causes your home to settle. And then those random summertime rainstorms pouring through the cracked soil causes leaks in your basement that damage your home's health and value. And let's not forget the humidity festering in your crawl space, making it nasty and unreliable. You'll know this is happening to your home when you notice cracks in your walls or exterior brick, uneven floors, doors and windows that stick, while mold and musty smells lurk just below. Not good. Indiana Foundation Services can help you protect and repair your most valuable investment, your home. With foundation, basement, and crawl space solutions delivered at the highest level of expertise, Indiana Foundation Services offers free, no-obligation inspections and financing plans at every budget. Visit IndianaFoundation.com and schedule your free inspection today.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 12th, and things that are trending this hour. Dolly Parton. Someone has posted a picture of her smoking with Willie Nelson, and now it is caught on. Also trending, actress Anne Hesh. She is not expected to survive after suffering a brain injury from crashing her car into a Los Angeles home last week. And finally trending, hoax. Donald Trump calls nuclear document claims a hoax. It is 6 minutes after 10 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And former U.S. Congresswoman Susan Brooks and former federal judge John Tender ripped on Todd Rokita, Indiana's Attorney General. And this is due to the investigation of the physician who oversaw the abortion of that 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio.
Yes. And by the way, we are monitoring the Trump Raid-a-Palooza, the latest deal with that. If they do release the document at some point, they could do it during the show. Who knows if they'll do it at all? To unseal this search warrant, we'll keep you posted on that. There's just nothing to say right now. There's no new news on that. So our friends at Indiana Capital Chronicle had this article, and I thought this was really interesting. So John Tender is a longtime former federal judge here in Indianapolis, Southern District of Indiana. My dad actually worked for John Tender for a long time when he was a federal law enforcement officer. And Susan Brooks, who was a former federal prosecutor and U.S. congressperson. And I am loath to agree with much of anything that Susan Brooks says, but this commentary that she did along with Judge Tender on Todd Rokita was spot on because it's what we've been talking about in regards to prosecutors on both sides of the aisle. And, we rip on Ryan Mears, and we rip on people like Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York, who are lunatic leftists. But it's happening on the right side now, too, with people like Todd Rokita, who are more interested in the politics of the thing and how that might better their future than the justice of the thing, which is the job of someone in law enforcement, whether you are the investigator, police, sheriff, FBI, whatever, or the prosecutor or the judge. Your job, because people's lives literally hang in the balance, is to not be political. It's an elected office, but it is not to be political. It is to follow the law and seek justice, and wherever the evidence leads you, that's where it leads you. And we talked about this in the case of Todd Rokita and this abortion doctor who performed the abortion on the 10-year-old girl from Ohio who was the rape victim, allegedly, that you don't have to like her, right? You don't have to like her politics. Yes, she outed herself to Indy Star. Absolutely. All of those things are fine. And I think a lot of people would agree with you. But just because we don't like someone, and it's the same thing that's going on with Trump right now, right? We're lamenting what the justice system is doing to Trump because they don't like his politics. So we have an obligation when it's happening when people, air quote, on our side are doing it, because this is why people listen to our show. We are fair. We call everybody out. We have to talk about this. Rokita went on Fox News and made an ass out of himself. But two, the woman did not commit a crime as far as we know. Like we have.
She followed all the
You don't
rules.
have to like the law. You don't have to like the rules. You don't have to like people who embrace on-demand abortion. You don't have to like any of that. And that's fine. But Todd Rokita can never stop being a politician, and Attorney General's not a politician. You'll never be a U.S. Senator. Thankfully, the voters of Indiana wised up. Todd, you'll never be a U.S. Senator because of this sort of behavior. You're not a congressman anymore. You're not even Secretary of State, which is largely should be an administrative type position anyway. But the point is, I thought this was great, especially having a former federal judge who was appointed by two Republicans. Okay, that doesn't oftentimes mean anything, but it's not like these were, it was an Obama appointee or something. And Susan Brooks, who at least in name was a Republican, call him out for this behavior because Todd doesn't seem to get it. And we have these prosecutors and attorney generals all over this country who don't seem to get it. And when the justice system stops being blind, when the justice system stops being fair and starts being political, as we're seeing with Trump, society collapses on itself.
Susan Brooks said a prosecutor should never wield the government's extraordinary authority for political or ideological aims. Perfect.
Yeah, and like I said, look, Susan Brooks was terrible as a congressperson. She's as establishmenty as you can get. I believe her husband was famous for being Todd Young's attorney when he couldn't count to 500 to get on the ballot. And so I very rarely will ever agree with Susan Brooks on much of anything. But another thing that they said that I thought was very, very well written, Brooks and Judge Tinder, government investigation should remain confidential unless and until a defendant is charged with respect for the presumption of innocence and the government's burden of proof. A baseless investigation, ring a bell, if disclosed publicly, ring a bell, causes the target reputational damage, humiliation, and loss. And it's happening right now to Donald Trump, and you see the backlash because of people are recognizing it. But when Republicans do it to leftists, everybody has the same rights under our legal system. And Todd Rokita can't stop being a politician. And if he can't stop being a politician, then Attorney General is not for you.
That's not the job for you.
Go lose another election for U.S. Senate.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And due to the Inflation Reduction Act, 87,000 more IRS auditors will be hired. And Tulsi Gabbard had a few things to say about this. Let's take a listen.
You look at those numbers that you broke out and the messaging that's coming out of the Democrats in Congress saying, hey, this will only apply to the wealthy. We're only taxing the wealthy. Well, that's only 1% to 2% of all taxpayers. So why in the world do they need $80 billion and 87,000 new hires in order to go after 1% to 2% of taxpayers? Their math absolutely does not add up, which should be frightening and concerning because this means exactly what you said. They're coming after us. They're coming after entrepreneurs. They're coming after small business owners. They're coming after our middle class, hardworking Americans. There's no question about that. And then you layer on top of that what you just mentioned, their criminal division with the power of enforcement of a gun, essentially, and how we have already seen it's not a theory that the IRS has also, like many of these other federal agencies, abused their power to go after political opponents. We have seen them do this with Lois Lerner under the Obama administration. There were no consequences there, and she was directly targeting blatantly conservative organizations. And so this dangerous trend that we are seeing that happened gradually over years, but everything from the IRS to Department of Homeland Security, their counterterrorism division, the FBI, the Department of Justice, we are seeing how they are more blatantly in broad daylight being weaponized to target political opponents of those in power and anyone who dares to dissent or question or challenge their actions and policies.
Tulsi Gabbard getting smarter and smarter every single day.
Well, and it dovetails into this next story, which revealed that CNS News had the story that the federal government has collected for the first 10 months of the fiscal 2022.
You going to say this number?
$4,104,000,000.
Nope. Try it again.
I'm sorry, $4,104,725,000,000.
There we go.
Sorry about that. I mean, there's so many commas and zeros.
It's such a big number,
and it's a record number. It is almost $504 billion more than the same time last year, 13.9% increase. And you still hear from the left, well, it's not enough.
Right.
It's
an increase of 13% since last year.
Money to the Treasury has risen year over year by almost $504 billion, as you said, Casey, an almost 14% increase. And you still keep hearing from the left, well, we need more, 87,000 more IRS agents because, well, people aren't paying their fair share.
Stop spending money!
And yet you still have near or at record deficits that we are running, and you will never get back to anywhere close. And you remember when I had the misfortune of having that conversation with the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, and his little buddy Igor, his evil assistant Igor.
And he said he wasn't going to stop.
He's not going to stop.
And he hasn't.
Yeah, and he said, let's remove COVID out of the equation. He said, doesn't matter. I'm not cutting. The government will never stop. They could collect, this is so bad, Casey, essentially at this point, you could collect every dollar from almost every person, or certainly you could collect every dollar from every billionaire who they claim to loathe and are the scourge of society, and you would not still come close to funding what they want to fund. Mm-hmm. It is not a tax collection problem. It is a spending problem.
Yes.
And whether it's Bernie Sanders or the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, or fill in about 95% of the 535 people that make up Congress, they are the problem. It is not the money coming in. It is not the U.S. taxpayer is not the problem. The Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, fill in your favorite politician not named Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, and most of the time Jim Banks, are the problem. We are not the demons here. We are not the villains here, and yet we are constantly made out to be the bad guys in this equation.
One last question before we get into our break. Aren't we the country that revolted over taxes?
That's a good point.
It's Kendall and
Careful.
Casey.
You're gonna get a fair and balanced FBI agent show up at your door, Casey.
I'm sure. And they'll go, wow, they only pay you that? It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
And now we have a crash southbound 69 and 96th Street. Traffic absolutely soul-crushing.
When you need to get from here,
crashes on the east side, south side,
to there,
north side, crashes everywhere. An absolute car-apocalypse today in the Circle City.
Matt Bear.
Delays, and when I say delays, I mean stop traffic continues to build.
Mornings and afternoons.
So you're going to want to change your reroute. In fact, I'll tell you right
93
now.
WIBC.
Mark loves summers in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with a Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's out of control.
And Casey Daniels.
Isn't she the best?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, we just keep learning more and more about Nancy Pelosi's kid. This guy's cashing in on the family name, too. That's the thing, isn't it? He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. And Nancy Pelosi's son is the second largest investor in a $22 million Chinese company whose senior executive was arrested in a fraud investigation.
Okay, so we talked about this yesterday, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And this kind of, again, random, confused, probably accidental act of journalisming taking place. That and Fox News, Jesse Waters kind of led the way on this, which is, hey, there was this guy on this trip to Taiwan with Pelosi, who this is like one of the biggest things Pelosi could ever do. So obviously whoever is on this trip is going to get scrutinized. Well, we know it's not her loser husband because he had his own little issue back here related to court and various things he had to take care of. So they're saying, who is this guy? And it turns out it's Nancy Pelosi's son. Mm-hmm. Well, again, it's not accidental. This is not, a weekend at Wally World. Like whoever's on this trip, it's a dangerous, high-profile trip. You want to know who they're there and why they're there. And so they start looking into Pelosi's kid. Mm-hmm. And it turns out, he's got all these ties to lithium, the lithium industry, of which I believe Asia is like a hotbed in terms of producing the lithium once it comes out of the ground. And so people are going,
what's going on with this guy?
What the hell is happening here? And she, of course, is totally flippant and dismissive of it. And then it comes out that Pelosi's kid, who again has no applicable skill set. It's very it's very much Hunter Biden 2.0 on the surface, right? Mm-hmm. No applicable skill set, no track record of immense success in terms of running companies or whatever. It's come out that he is allegedly, according to Daily Mail, a top investor in a Chinese telecom company.
Mm-hmm. It's called Borks Technologies.
That seems about right. Mm-hmm. And this, of course, even if this weren't weird that he's all of a sudden popped up and is on this trip, it's odd because, Nancy Pelosi promised to curb China's influence in the United States. So, I don't know, Casey, call me skeptical that if Jr. has got a huge financial stake in China doing well that, I don't know, maybe you won't be really trying to make China not do so well.
So he has 700,000 shares in this company. He's the 5th largest shareholder, and they specialize in, and these are their words. This Bork Technologies, this Chinese telecom company, specializes in Internet of Things. I don't know what that means, but that's how they brand it. They trade on the NASDAQ. They have a market cap of $22 million. And Paul Pelosi Jr. traveled on this trip with mommy at no expense to the taxpayer.
What do you mean at no expense to him or no?
No, yes.
There was an expense to the taxpayer,
Let
Casey.
me say that. At no expense to him.
Yes.
But an expense to the taxpayer.
I was going to say.
Stop that, reverse. Go
yes.
the other way. Yeah. So now she's claiming he didn't do any business on the trip.
Well, sure. And Joe Biden has no idea about Hunter Biden's business dealings, Casey. I mean, I don't know why we're even having this conversation. We're terrible Americans for even assuming anything. This could be anything but above board.
So I just found something out. This is a total sidebar to Paul Pelosi Jr. He is cousins with Gavin Newsom.
Of course.
From California.
Of course he is. That just seems like the most accurate thing ever. I'm not even going to question that. I'm not even going to ask you where you got that, because that absolutely 100% seems totally correct and right.
Nancy Pelosi is Gavin Newsom's aunt.
Yes.
By marriage.
Yes.
Making Paul Pelosi Jr. and Gavin Newsom cousins.
And here is here's the long and short of it. And Hammer, Nigel, and I talked about this, I think, yesterday on Off the Rails.
Yeah.
Our country was set up by some of the most brilliant, bravest, incredible people that ever lived. And the system of governance they set up is the greatest system of governance ever conceived by man. They made one egregious mistake, though. And that mistake was that because they were the people who set up the country, and they were at the forefront of thought, and their children obviously was at the forefront of their thought because many of them experienced the foundation of the country, of what it took to get the country set up, that people would not forget, and that it would be passed along to the generations of how lucky and blessed we are by God to have this country, that they assumed that it would always be good and righteous people with the most noble of tendencies and desires to serve in public office. And the problem is the system is set up that if you get scumbags and dirtballs like the Pelosis or the Newsoms or fill in the blank, again, the vast majority of the 535 people who represent us in the United States Congress, that you can't stop the system from spiraling out of control, because the check and balance is supposed to be the people in the system checking and balancing on one another. And now we have people who, for the most part, are completely in it for self-benefit, don't care at all about America, do not care at all about anybody else other than themselves, and will grift and use and abuse this system to their own benefit in perpetuity.
Coming up next, we're going to get a new take on why we have so many jobs. Biden is doing his, we've created all of these jobs, things are wonderful tour, and we've got a new take on that, and we'll share it with you coming up from 93 WIBC.
49 million. That's the number of Americans that may be suffering from dry eye disease. Symptoms of dry eye disease can include dryness, burning, itchiness, or a sandy, gritty sensation. Eye care professionals in Columbus, Indiana, are currently enrolling volunteers in an investigational eye drop study to research potential treatments. If you are experiencing any dry eye disease symptoms, you could be eligible to participate. In 6 visits over the course of approximately 15 weeks, you could participate in a clinical trial aiming to provide a more effective treatment for dry eye disease and receive compensation of up to $700. To learn more, please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP. That's 1-866-EYEDROP. 1-866-393-3767. Together, we can find better care for all. Please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP.
I picked smoke gray. That's because it matched the exterior of the house, but there are plenty of options, colors, patterns, anything for your concrete coating. And that's with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Hey, it's Casey. This morning, I invite you to call them, 317-751-9070. You can find Galaxy Concrete Coatings online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com. They're going to take your concrete space out of this world, totally transform the area, whether it's inside or outside. Call them today and see what I'm talking about. It's not as expensive as you'd think.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have, all the way from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Joe Bulk, business manager of Labor's Local 204. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Hey, this is Eric with Marshall Mechanical. Call now about maintenance specials as low as $15 per month.
Just go to callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hi, I'm Joe Clark, host of Consider This, found right here Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Grab a cup of coffee and join me as we talk about things you should consider affecting your financial future.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Going alone. Sunny and 70 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Democrats ready to push ahead with their package they say will fight inflation.
This is a game changer for the working class people, not only in my community, but across America.
Democratic Congresswoman Norma Torres. Republicans say that the bill will actually make inflation worse. If approved by the House, it will be going to the president's desk. Traffic stopped on the north side of Indy right now. Westbound 465 is completely shut down due to a crash near Keystone. At least 2 cars involved, several ambulances and wreckers are on the scene as well. Former President Trump says he's fine with a warrant to raid his house being made public.
The Attorney General of the United States is essentially calling the former president's bluff, turning the tables, saying, fine, we have no problem with releasing the contents of that search warrant to the public. The former president said, not only will I not oppose the release of documents related to the un-American, unwarranted, and unnecessary raid and break-in of my home in Palm Beach, Florida, Mar-a-Lago, I'm going a step further by encouraging the immediate release of those documents.
Fox's David Spunt. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Rave Panic Button, an app that can alert the authorities, fire department, or medics within 15 to 30 seconds of pressing a button, is now coming to Hancock County schools. It's 10:31 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And Rob, you got worked up because the actual headline for this story says that the $13,000 life-saving app is free of cost for Hancock County school districts.
And I love our news gathering partners at Wish TV, and they do phenomenal work, and they're great. But these headlines really bother me, and the tone of the article really bothers me, because unless someone like a Jim Irsay or, the Simon family or, whoever is opening their personal wallet and extending that to a government entity for a project, donating the money, right? Mm-hmm. It's not free. And this is what happens a lot, especially with school corporations. I used to see this all the time when I was in local government. The school system in Brownsburg believed, because they can use kids as human shields, and they ran into a little bit of a brick wall here with me because don't threaten me with a good time, that if you don't do whatever we say, and we will strong-arm you, well, we're going to go out and tell everybody how bad you are, and you don't want all these parents mad at you. And this is what happens, where school systems get more stuff from other government agencies than people can imagine. And so this is another example. In this case, this app, and I'm not saying it is a worthy or an unworthy purchase. I don't know. But what I'm saying is the county government is providing this to these school systems. And it's, what is it, $13,000
per year.
Per year. And so stretch that out, over whatever it is, lengthy period of time. Taxpayers are paying for this app. If you live in that county, well, if your kid goes to a Hancock County school, you live, for the most part, in Hancock County. You are paying for this. You are being taxed for it, and your government is taking your money, and they are giving it to someone else. I used to run into this all the time, where the school system, and it just happened in Brownsburg, where these morons claim they're so broke and they have so little manpower that they can't even provide somebody to run a chipper to mulch the sticks. Now, apparently that's coming back, they allege, at the end of September. Point is, I pay for it as a taxpayer. Mm-hmm. But we were told, well, it's a manpower issue. We can't, there's no manpower. So I'm reading through documents and I realize, well, you just gave the school corporation $130,000 in water and sewer credits, which I'm, again, product of the public education system. But if you divide $130,000 by 2, that's $65,000. So you're telling me that if you put an ad in the paper that said $65,000 to run a wood chipper, people wouldn't be beating down your door to do that?
You can find somebody.
You made a choice, which is to give a freebie, my money, to a school corporation, so they'd say nice things about you, which is waiving a water and sewer hookup fee, so that they would go out and say nice things about you, and then you plead poverty over here. It's bull. And it happens all the time, where these school corporations, who are we've already said the state budget, K through 12 education, is roughly $18 to $19 billion in a biennial budget. More than 50% of most communities' property taxes on top of that go to schools. And yet they still come back and plead poverty and need other government entities, which is our tax money, to help fund the stuff that they can't pay for. It's ridiculous. These school administrators are some of the worst managers of finance I've ever seen, because they're just like the federal government. They're just like Nancy Pelosi. They're just like Bernie Sanders. They're just like Todd Young. No matter how much money it is, it's never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever enough. And these headlines just infuriate me, because it's not free. Somebody pays for it. We pay for it.
Well, and if you get into the article farther, it does say Hancock County school districts have it paid for by the county for the next 5 years.
So it's not free.
No, it's not free.
And the question becomes, and I keep asking this, okay, so of the $37.5 billion biennial budget from the state of Indiana, half or more goes to schools. Let's round it off, $19 billion. Most communities, 50% or more of property taxes go to schools. Where does it end? And how does it end? I mean, record property assessments, record budgets from the state, federal money flowing in. And yet you still don't have enough money to do basic things, which is school security. Why do we tolerate that? Why do we? Because they use the children as human shields. Why are we stupid enough to succumb to this bull crap, where I guarantee the football fields are really nice. I guarantee the basketball stadiums are really nice. I guarantee all the athletic fields are firmly taken care of. And I guarantee the lawns are watered and manicured. All that stuff is taken care of. But yet, well, no money for basic safety. Why do we tolerate this from education when we don't tolerate it from anywhere else?
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Side note, Rob, I would just like to say that I do hope this app works because it seems like a good idea. A panic button in the classroom on your phone.
And no one is, and I'm not saying it, we can have that merit and discussion whether it's a good use of money or not. My issue is
it's not free.
It is not free, and the school gives that perception. And again, our news gathering partners at Wish TV do a phenomenal job. They're great reporters. This is an interesting story, but it is not free.
Yeah.
We are paying for it just like we pay for everything else in public education, which keeps failing kids.
Let's talk about jobs. Employers added over 500,000 jobs to the economy in July. That was reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but it's a lot of side hustles, right?
This is great.
Yeah.
So Biden keeps touting all these jobs that they've created.
Yeah.
And let's keep in mind that they, the government, Eric Holcomb, Todd Young, Bernie Sanders, fill in your favorite liberal governors, Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, Andrew Cuomo, whatever, shut down society. Businesses did not close voluntarily. They closed by threat of force. And so arbitrarily, they just decided, well, now society can open again because the jelly bean counters got it in our favor in November of 2020. So now everything can start to open again. And now they try to take credit because they shut down a business by force, that when the force is relinquished and the business is allowed to reopen,
they created jobs.
Look at all these jobs created.
Yeah.
And so they touted these 1.8 million jobs that have been created since March. And Glenn Beck, for as squirrely as Glenn Beck is sometimes, and we don't have time to go down that lengthy rabbit hole, but he did a phenomenal take on this, on just how many of these new jobs aren't new people working. They're people that have to work second jobs to keep up with inflation and the destruction of the economy thanks to the Biden recession.
The number of Americans who are now working more than one job just hit a post-pandemic high, with more than 7.6 million Americans currently working 2 or more jobs that are at least 15 hours a week. Also, according to the household survey, the number of Americans who are working 2 full-time jobs, at least 30 hours per job per week, has spiked to an all-time high, with 4.4 million Americans currently having to work 2 full-time jobs. When Biden took office, the number of Americans working 2 full-time jobs was 2.3 million people. But fast forward through July of this year, and that number has doubled.
4.6 million working 2 jobs.
So think about that. Your economy, and because of inflation, of which you are directly, partially accountable for, and obviously the vast majority, again, not named Banks, Massey, or Rand Paul, are highly accountable for what's happened with inflation the past couple of years on both sides of the aisle. But because of inflation, people have to take second jobs to keep up, and you're touting this as some sort of victory.
Right.
Because, well, a job was created and a job was filled.
Look what we did. I wanted to mention, because it is that time of year, families are spending on average $864 for back to school. $864.
Wow.
Just for back to school.
You know, I thought, what would I do for a second job, Casey? Because I looked at actually getting, when the wages were, I think wages have subsided a little bit. I looked at various places for a second job because it was so ridiculous that it was almost worth going to work.
What did you come up with?
Well, what I decided was, and maybe I'll put this out there, maybe it'll happen someday just for fun. I always thought when I was a kid, I used to work at a golf course. The old Brownsburg Golf Course, now a sprawling housing development. Rest in peace, Brownsburg Golf Course. And I thought, other than radio, that's the most fun I've ever had, was working at a golf course. And so maybe someday, as a second job, I'll be like Carl Spagler in Caddyshack. I'll go cut the grass or clean the golf carts again somewhere. So if you're an owner or a manager of a high-profile golf course in central Indiana, maybe I'll come work for you as a second job. Let me know.
I'm not going to work nearly that hard. I'm going to sell pictures of my feet on the internet.
It's not really work, though. There was always something. Here's why I liked working at a golf course. I was 15 years old, and I liked this. Because you worked, for the most part, by yourself. So in my case, I mostly washed golf carts. And you were in charge of this little area of the woods, and it was before you could drive a car. So it was like you had this own little world to yourself.
You felt like you were driving.
And it was pretty much impossible to screw up managing a golf cart hut. Cart comes in, you clean it, you put it back in line, and then at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you park the carts and charge them up and go home. Like, it was pretty much idiot-proof. Now, even as big an idiot as I was when I was 15, I tried to mess it up, but I thought that might be fun again someday to work at a golf course, either cutting grass, working the greens, raking the bunkers, cleaning the golf carts. That might be a fun second job.
Doing something like that. I want to get to this one last thing before we have Hammer come in here. And this is, I love this man on the street stuff. I think I'm going to start doing this on the Circle, right? So there was this guy, and some reporter asked a real basic question. And this guy was protesting outside of the Trump Tower in New York. And he thought he was all attitude, wasn't he? All attitude until he was actually asked about it. Just listen to what he has to say.
Is this unprecedented to arrest a former president for not turning in documents?
A former president that had committed this many provable criminal acts.
But what are the provable criminal acts, I guess?
Provable criminal acts. Well, I'm done talking.
Yeah. And I'm so glad somebody did this, because these people are idiots. The abortion people are idiots. These people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. They can't espouse a well-constructed argument on why they believe what they believe. It's all emotion. It's all insanity. It's all indoctrination. And yet, our politicians give credence. Even our politicians on our side, the people who are supposed to be on our side, there are very few politicians actually on our side, but the ones who lie to us and say they're on our side, give credence to these people.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Big Hammer and Nigel show beer sample Friday today. Dan Dockich will join us, and the latest about the raid. That's today, 93 WIBC.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new furnace or AC unit is a big decision. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. We offer our PHP guarantee, which means if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com, and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Now with Xfinity, you'll get unlimited internet with gig speed and supersonic Wi-Fi. With a 2-year internet rate guarantee, no annual contract required, and no equipment fees. Talk about knock your socks off. Ooh, plus a free Flex 4K streaming box. It's like hitting the streaming jackpot. It's all just $50 a month when you add Xfinity Mobile. $50 a month. A price that's truly jaw-dropping.
Oh, literally.
The speed you need at a price you want. Value that's simply bananas. That's the new Xfinity Supersonic Bundle. It's kind of a big deal. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to learn more.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. New gigabit internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
It's time for the Crestpoint Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crestpoint Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts.
Hey Terry, this week I'd like to put things into perspective in regards to real estate. Obviously the headlines have been talking about how real estate is changing due to higher interest rates and it's not as favorable to purchase. 6 months ago when rates were about 3.5% to 3.75%, if you were interested in a $300,000 house, you likely would have had to spend about $330,000 or $340,000 on that home to win it. Today, that $300,000 house, you're likely to spend $300,000 on it. With the increase in interest rates, the mortgage payment on that $300,000 house is ironically very similar to the $300,000 listed house 6 months ago. What we're seeing is that it's a pretty even wash right now, and you have an opportunity.
Get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at patrickkeller.realtor.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings, and rings. Breathtaking rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Welcome to Barrington Jewels. From timeless designs to impeccable craftsmanship, the enduring beauty of Barrington Jewels shines through every creation. At Barrington Jewels, find respect and honest pricing, superior service, and accommodations. For birthdays, anniversaries, and just because. Find your treasure at Barrington Jewels, East 82nd in Indianapolis, and barringtonjewels.com.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives, that's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Check out our website to see where the next Home and Garden Show on the road will be. We're live every Saturday starting at 9 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Be sure to tune in to Pat, Denny, and the gang on 93 WIBC. And follow WIBC on your favorite social media channels to stay up to date on breaking news, traffic updates, and weather. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
It's not the hologram version. It's the real deal. Hammer's in the studio from the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
It's weigh-in day.
How you feeling about that? You feeling good?
I tell you what, yesterday I weighed in at home just to kind of see where we're at. And I knew it was going to be close.
Yeah.
So I got up super early today, got an hour in at Planet Fitness just to show my disdain for Rob Kendall.
Yeah, this really is, this is the way I felt. Remember last year in the Ryder Cup, just for fun, I went on your show and I said it'd be boring if I said the U.S. is going to beat the brakes off Europe. So this would be fun and be controversial and say, yeah, Europe's got a fair chance. So I had to bet on Europe, the Ryder Cup. And they got their asses handed to them from like the first tee shot. Like, there was at no point where I was in this thing and it was 3 days of prolonged suffering. And you're just like, I just want it to be over with. You're going to get to that 50 pounds eventually, soon, I think soon. And I've only won $20 out of this. And so I just wanted to get over at this point.
You've only won $20. You make it sound like you've put in so much work to win the $20.
I've had to deal with you every Friday.
All you've had to do is sit there and be unlikable, which is what you get paid to do anyway.
By the way, how great was that little new picture of me that you're using on your Off the Rails
The
now?
Napoleon?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. Like, that's good Photoshop right there. I don't care who you are. That's some damn good Photoshop.
I had a listener did that is really good. The same listener who did the Todd Young as the Duke of Spendingburg. Very talented.
Whenever Rob comes on to go off the rails, I try to find a classic Rob photo to post. The ones that are in my library include you like shirtless with a puka shell necklace on.
Man, I was so fit back then.
There's another one we've got where you've been photoshopped as Dr. Evil.
I like that one where he's holding the cat.
Right. And now we've got Napoleon.
Yeah, my head on Napoleon's body, and it's a really well done Photoshop. And
there was a nice picture of Hammer last week on my Twitter account. I forgot to take a picture of you this week. I'm going to do it right now.
What do you do with those photos when you go home? What do you do with those?
Don't worry about it, Rob. What consenting adults do with photos of me is none of your damn business.
Okay, so you have started the year at 264.4 pounds. As of last week, you were
222.2.
So you're down 42.2 pounds for the year.
Wow, you are getting close.
And I feel like you're going to be down. I can usually look at you and see. Mm-hmm. And so I feel, so basically, you've missed it 4 times. You've used your 3 timeouts that you gave yourself because you knew you were going to be over. So really, only this year, about 7 weeks have you probably gone up in weight from week to week, and that's pretty good.
I would even argue maybe 6. The first time out I had to burn, we had a little health emergency at home, and I just had to call into work.
Oh, using his kid as a human shield.
That's
there
right.
we go. Mm-hmm. Boy, you should be a part of the public education system. You'd fit in great. I kid. But really, would you like to tell us how fat you are today?
Sure, let's do it. So I've got to beat 222.2. We started at 264.4. Here we go.
All right, here goes Hammer. No longer waddling over to the scale. Now a rapid shuffle to the scale. Standing up on the scale. Moving.
Hey! We're still alive, baby!
No money for Rob Kendall.
220.8.
Whoa!
Down nearly 2 pounds from last week.
Why is Tony Katz here? It was very spooky. He was watching you over your shoulder as you were weighing in.
He works here.
No! That's an urban legend.
Okay, he does a show here. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't.
It was very creepy. He was like looking over your shoulder through the window while you were weighing. You know, like how in a movie where the villain will be, glaring down the hero,
right,
as they're about to make the turn. Yes, that was him to you right there.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody wants to see how sexy I look right now because of all the weight loss.
You have lost, and it's really
that's incredible. 44 pounds.
I mean, it's amazing. I still don't feel like you're very fit.
Thank you.
But I feel like you're much thinner, and I can. What?
Wow.
Well, this is how guys talk, Casey, because I tell our producer Kyle in the afternoon. He's at the point now where I can't tell if he's really strong or kind of fat.
He was wearing his tank top yesterday after he had
it was a day that ends in Y.
Yeah, he had just worked out too, I could tell.
Does he own any clothes that have or shirts that have sleeves on them?
I don't think so.
Is he like Ernest? Remember when they went in Ernest's closet that one time and every outfit was exactly the same? That's Kyle's. Why does he do that? He's almost 36 years old.
That's who he is, man. He likes it. He likes to let the big guns breathe.
Well, congratulations on your weight loss. Rob Kendall, you are not getting any money from Hammer this week.
So what am I at here? I am, what?
220.8.
Right. So doing the math here, I am about
6 pounds away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are currently down 30. I'm doing public school math here. 30, what is that? 44 would be, so you're down 43.6 pounds.
So 7 away from closing this thing out.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm a good stomach flu away from wrapping this bad boy up.
And that's what I feel like it is. It is exactly how I felt on Sunday at the Ryder Cup. I have to sit through this because I bet on it, but it is like a death march for me in terms of watching you achieve this goal.
Did you sit through the Field of Dreams game last night?
I did. I watched a little bit of it last night.
Why? Why did you do that to yourself?
Because I'm a Cubs fan, I'm a baseball fan, and I hate myself. Those are the reasons why.
There was supposed to be some hologram of Harry Carey.
It was. So remember I think it was Coachella a number of years ago, they had the Tupac hologram, and it did a little concert, and everybody lost their minds. So it was hologram Harry Carey doing the 7th inning stretch at the Field of Dreams game last night.
The Reds were the home team?
I don't know. But I will say it had my attention. And much like I can't tell if my producer Kyle is strong or fat, I couldn't tell if I was interested or creeped out. I think it was a little bit of both last night.
Yeah.
That Super 70 Sports account on Twitter, which is one of the great accounts
awesome.
in all of Twitter, you should totally follow it, had the best post last night. They had a picture of Timothy Boostfield from Field of Dreams, and he is plays the brother-in-law banker.
He's also Poindexter in Revenge of the Nerds.
Right. And Timothy Boostfield is finally in the movie Field of Dreams can't see the players until there's this catastrophic event in which one of the players has to give up being a player to save the kid. And somebody, Super 70 Sports said, Timothy Boostfield should join the broadcast in the middle of the game and keep yelling at the announcers that they're being crazy because he can't see anything. And why are they announcing these imaginary players? And I thought that was just the absolute best thing ever.
You don't like the Field of Dreams game, do you?
I think it's stupid. I think it's an exploitation. Like, it was great. They do this all the time in these franchises. They can't just let it go. And yet now they build another baseball field. The premise is it's all corn. It's not even corn, but the baseball field. Now there's like 9 baseball fields.
The ratings have been really good for these things 2 years in a row. Tickets always sell out. Now, my whole argument with last night, in addition to my mixed feelings on hologram Harry, what did the poor people of Iowa do to warrant the Cubs and the Reds? Like the year before, it was the Yankees and the White Sox, right? The Yankees have star players up and down the roster, and the White Sox, when you think of Field of Dreams, that's the team associated.
Joey Votto stinks. What happened to him?
It's not bad.
He was batting like I saw the little cryon thing. He was batting 219. You could bat 219.
He got old.
Kurt, darling, you could also bat 219.
No, I couldn't.
What's coming up this afternoon?
And it's not like he's getting a lot of help in that lineup in terms of protection either. Dan Dakich will join us. Abdul will join us. And we're on Warrant Watch.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks, Hammer.
Inspired by your nerves of steel and the nerves and joints that help our bodies go. Inspired by longer walks and breakthrough joint replacements that keep you in step. We're inspired to deliver the best in orthopedic care because at Franciscan Health, we're inspired by you. To learn more, visit franciscanhealth.org/orthocare. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been a local, family-owned and operated business for nearly 50 years and helps keep central Indiana's economy strong by employing over 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis stands by their products and services while they share and embrace our conservative values. So when you have garage door problems, call them today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis, 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Everything okay?
I just left the grocery store.
Oh, a little pricey.
Unbelievable. I think I threw up on my mouth a little.
Hey, we can help you save some money.
Save?
Up to $150 on Cooper tires.
I can save?
$150 on Coopers. And we have lots of payment options. You can pay weekly. You can pay monthly.
Boy, that feels different.
Yeah?
Like, good. I might even have the stomach to go pay for gas. See store for details.
With a low fixed rate on Lake City Bank's home equity line of credit, you can use money for expenses now or when you need it later. Learn more at lakecitybank.com. Call 888-522-2265 or visit a branch near you. Subject to credit approval and equal housing lender.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what Sierra Burton's friends are asking for in support as they pray for her recovery. Plus, what fire investigators are narrowing in on when it comes to the Evansville explosion, and a big change coming to IUPUI. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
The search warrant from the Trump FBI raid could be made public today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The former president says he encourages it, and the Justice Department already okayed the release, while House Republicans demand more answers into what Congresswoman Elise Stefanik calls the
weaponization of the Department of Justice and FBI against Joe Biden's political opponent.
Now, whatever could be released today, Fox's Shannon Bream says we won't see.
The underlying stuff, the guts of the operation, kind of those affidavits with the really juicy stuff that neither the president nor the DOJ is asking to release at this point. But there are private entities, including groups like the New York Times, who say they want to see all of it.
The Washington Post reported some of the White House classified records the FBI sought involve nuclear weapons, which the former president calls a hoax. A judge in New York has just denied several Trump attempts to get criminal charges dropped in an investigation into Trump Organization taxes. A trial is set for October. Also in New York City, the virus that causes polio has been detected in wastewater, suggesting there may be more cases beyond the one infection confirmed last month in Rockland County, New York, outside the city, in an unvaccinated man who suffered paralysis, the first polio case in the U.S. in 9 years. House Democrats could approve the bill today they call the Inflation Reduction Act.
This is a game changer for the working class people, not only in my community, but across America.
Congresswoman Nora Torres, it would cut prescription drug costs for seniors and fight climate change by incentivizing renewable energy use, but no Republican supports it, with Congresswoman Michelle Fischbach saying it actually will add to inflation.
This is just another
installation of their tax and spend agenda that got us here in the first place.
A chemical leak from railroad cars led to more than 100 homes evacuated in Paris, California. Riverside Fire Chief John Crater says they're being very cautious.
Due to the heat building in the car, that builds pressure, and it could have a release.
He says it could explode. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Asking for support. It's 71 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. First, westbound 465 on the north side still shut down near Keystone Avenue. A bad wreck involving several cars. Traffic being diverted onto Keystone there. The shooting of Officer Sierra Burton Wednesday night in Richmond shocked her friends, who are asking for you to pray for her.
A tragedy, and it's rocked us all. So anything we can do to show our support, prayers. We're thinking of Officer Burton and her family.
Brittany Lloyd, a friend, talking to Wish TV. Burton is still critical. Her fellow cops have posted pictures of Burton and her canine partner around town and on their patrol cars. It was likely an accident, say fire investigators trying to get to the bottom of a home explosion in Evansville. Some have speculated that a gas leak may have been the cause. However,
our thorough leak surveys are coming back with no indications of natural gas being detected on the outside of the structure.
Natalie Hetty with Centerpoint Energy. 3 people killed in the blast. Firefighters say that their search is over and everyone in the neighborhood has been accounted for. IUPUI will soon not be IUPUI anymore. The IU Board of Trustees has come to an agreement with Purdue to rebrand the school IU Indianapolis by fall semester of 2024. Purdue will maintain a presence on the campus as part of it. No information could be taken from the Greenwood Park Mall shooter's hard drive. Parker Carlson reports.
Authorities found the hard drive besides a can of butane inside of an oven. The damage was so extensive, no information could be taken from that hard drive. The investigation still isn't over, but the question still remains why he committed the mass shooting in the first place. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Saturday, the Colts face the Buffalo Bills in their first preseason game.
Good week of practice, ready to go to Buffalo and have a chance to, a lot of guys get an opportunity, and coaches as well, and show a good measuring stick of where we're at right now.
Head coach Frank Reich. The game starts at 4. I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
49 million. That's the number of Americans that may be suffering from dry eye disease. Symptoms of dry eye disease can include dryness, burning, itchiness, or a sandy, gritty sensation. Eye care professionals in Columbus, Indiana, are currently enrolling volunteers in an investigational eye drop study to research potential treatments. If you are experiencing any dry eye disease symptoms, you could be eligible to participate. In 6 visits over the course of approximately 15 weeks, you could participate in a clinical trial aiming to provide a more effective treatment for dry eye disease and receive compensation of up to $700. To learn more, please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP. That's 1-866-EYEDROP. 1-866-393-3767. Together, we can find better care for all. Please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Johnson County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. Today is Friday, August 12th, and things that are trending this hour. Scott Peterson, his attorney, is arguing for a new trial in the murders of his wife, Lacey Peterson, and their unborn son. Also trending, Ann Hesh. She has suffered a severe brain injury. Her family has said that she is not expected to survive. Also trending, Matt Baer. He rappelled off the building.
We saw him do it.
Yeah. Have you seen him make it to the bottom?
No, they don't show once you... So, for those of you who missed it, earlier today, Matt Baer, right out of the top of the show, was on with us. He was... He'd done this before, he's doing it again, to raise money for the United Way, was propelling himself down a 23-story building in downtown Indianapolis. And he raised a lot of money for the United Way. I think that's awesome. And so he did it. And I watched him go over the way the camera is kind of...
Okay, it's a static shot. The camera didn't follow him down.
Because there's a whole... I guess I didn't understand this. There's multiple people who are doing this today.
Yeah.
And so I watched him be connected. I don't know, maybe 5-ish minutes there. He was hanging on, I guess, to let the next person get down further before you start. And then there's somebody there doing what appeared to be a play-by-play of some sort on the feed. And then they have kind of a shot looking up the building where I guess you can see the people kind of coming down, but you can't make out who it is. So I did watch Matt. And you're right, Casey, upon watching this.
Yeah.
Once you got going, I think you'd be okay.
Yeah.
It's just the
initial over the building. But once you're on your way down, just keep going. Where else are you going to go?
Like I fear rides at the
Amusement
carnivals
park?
or whatever. And one of my great fears, and I've had this happen on a Ferris wheel, and that's why I will not get on a Ferris wheel.
You got stuck on top.
Yeah, and I will not get on a Ferris wheel again anymore.
Neither will I.
Even though, obviously, the Ferris wheel does not go fast. It is not the actual act of the Ferrising.
Because when you were stuck on the Ferris wheel on top, you sat there and looked at the brackets holding it together, didn't you?
I looked at everything. Like, I there's nowhere for you to go. And there's nothing worse, Casey. There is no way to not get a second date faster than losing your mind like a little girl because you're stuck at the top of a Ferris wheel. Not saying that did happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is so that would be to me like if they were like, Rob, okay, go, and you just got started walking, it would be easier. But he was like holding on there, what appeared to be, I don't know, maybe 5-ish minutes or something.
That would have been too much.
Where they're giving instructions or telling you to hold up or whatever. And my question remains, what if you got stuck for some reason? I don't even know how you'd get stuck. I guess if you just keep going. But what if the rope wasn't long enough? Or, wow, Matt, you only made it down to the 4th floor. Well, you can't jump 4 floors.
No.
You know, you could jump the distance of like a roof. Like if you live in a 1-story house and you were on your roof, you could theoretically, not telling anyone to do this by any means, but you could jump off your roof and probably
don't do that.
Have a decent shot at survival. It doesn't mean you'd end up
not
well.
23 floors.
No. So I'm saying,
propelling.
what if there has to be that would be my thing. What if you got stuck and you're stuck there before you go down? I don't know.
It's not going to happen. Well, we're assuming that Matt Baer made it safely to the ground. And thank you to everybody who contributed to his fundraising for the United Way. It is 9 minutes after 11. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And Attorney General Merrick Garland said that he personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant for former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, and that the Justice Department filed a motion earlier in the day to make the warrant public. We are on warrant watch currently. Why the urgency? Why show up in the cover of darkness? These are the questions that are being asked, and the former assistant FBI director is being blasted about the raid.
So that's the question that I think the majority of us have and was not answered. That's why it's so important that we see this affidavit. Because, look, in my opinion, the AG should have and could have addressed that. Why? Why the urgency? Why to show up in the cover of darkness? You have lights and sirens going off. You have, now there were 20 to 30 agents that go in there unannounced. Why? What was the urgency? He could have, in my opinion, after 2 decades in the FBI, Lindsay, he could have addressed that fact and that answer without compromising any aspect of the investigation. But we're still left in the complete darkness about that. But what we know so far, if this is about presidential record at his residence, it absolutely, at what we know now, appears to be extreme overkill. And that's why all the speculation and criticism right now.
So that was the former assistant FBI director.
Yeah, Mark Morgan is his name. And he's right? I mean, so now we are at a standstill in which Garland, look, somebody is going to come out of this really bad. Because, again, and now it's starting to leak out that, well, it was related to nuclear code information potentially. If that's it, like Trump's apparently got the trail of him communicating with people and them telling him what to do and him doing it. And there is a track record of presidents from Clinton. Clinton took the whole damn White House with him. Clinton to Bush to Obama. Like, people move stuff. It's not uncommon that you would take something and they go, okay, you probably shouldn't have that. You might need to give it back. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. In the meantime, do this. That is, by all accounts, what happened with Trump. If that is indeed what happened with Trump, unless they've got the nuclear codes and him attempting to sell them to the Putin administration, which, by the way, I would assume, like any other, when somebody else takes over, your house or whatever, you change the codes to things. It isn't like Trump's nuclear code was 17839 and Biden's is still 17839. I would imagine it's all different. The passwords to Twitter, the nuclear codes, everything. But unless you've got Trump trying to sell something of national security to a terrorist regime,
right,
this is going to blow up in their face. And it appears like we have a giant game of chicken here where somebody is going to blow up in their face.
Trump is saying that the nuclear weapon code document theory, that's all a hoax. And his lawyers have until 3 o'clock today to object to any type of release of the warrant. Of course, you mentioned the game of chicken. He's going to release it first? Doesn't matter. Just release it. Somebody release it, right?
And then we have he's currently an attorney still, but was best known probably for his work with O.J. Simpson. Alan Dershowitz, one of the great legal minds, was Trump's attorney during one of the impeachments that he went through. I thought he had an interesting take. And he says, because a lot of people were coming after this judge that signed off on this.
Right.
Track record of donating to Obama, was connected to Epstein.
Yep.
And people were coming after this judge. And Dershowitz, I thought, had an interesting take saying this all rests on the Justice Department, not the judge.
So 2 important developments today. One, that Garland said he personally signed off on it. A lot of people were saying, no, it was Wray, it was not Garland. I knew all the time it was Garland, and I said so over again. The second thing is stop picking on the judge. The magistrate judge, they always approve search warrants. I'm sure the words were correct. Don't blame him. There's been in the media a lot of anti-Semitic attacks on him, a lot of McCarthyite attacks on him, blaming him for being one of the lawyers for Jeffrey Epstein's secretary. Want to blame people? Blame me. I was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer. If you trust me to do justice, don't attack the judge. Criticize the Justice Department. That seems appropriate.
Okay. So if you were Trump, wouldn't you be going through the entire estate with a bug sweeper at this point?
Well, this is the issue, right? Is the FBI?
They were there for 9 hours,
and they not letting people view the search, not letting Trump's attorneys, be involved in the search. You could not ask for if you said, how could you be less transparent? How could you create more doubt in the public's mind than the way they handled it? And Kimberly Guilfoyle, who is engaged to Donald Trump Jr., she has a type, Casey. I don't know if you're aware. She was married to Gavin Newsom, a furniture king, and Donald Trump. Her type is money.
She likes guys with wallets.
So sorry, Kevin, Midwest radio show producer, probably not on her list of what she's going to go for. She was on Newsmax and just totally blasted the way this was handled. Take a listen.
That's why the raid, the break-in to the president's home was totally unwarranted and un-American. They had no right to go there and break in when, if they needed a document, they could have simply subpoenaed it and requested the document. And in fact, the president secured that location and the premises with a padlock that they went ahead and then broke into his safe, broke into that room. What reason, and there better be a good one, that they think that they had to go in there under cover of night and basically go in and ransack the president's house, go through the first lady's closet, drawers, all of the above. It's outrageous. They also wouldn't allow the attorney that was there on the scene, Christina Bobb, to actually go in and witness what was going on. She requested to see the search warrant. They didn't want to show it to her. They held it finally back at a distance, didn't get a copy of it. It's outrageous that this could be going on in this country. And Americans are fed up. They have had enough of this, and it is turning this country into some kind of bizarre banana republic. And this is not the America that we want to wake up to every morning and go to bed at night, knowing that our freedoms, our constitutional rights are being protected and that laws are being upheld.
Do not get on this woman's bad side. She said, so these people, their worst living nightmare is President Trump back in the White House. Well, it's about to happen. So this is the future daughter-in-law nearly making an inevitable announcement.
Yes. And so here we go. We'll wait to see. Obviously, again, the news could come while we're on the air. It could be while Tony's on the air. Whatever it is, we'll bring it to you on whether this search warrant's going to be released.
All right. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks for listening this morning.
Your Echo smart speaker has just gotten smarter. Ask Alexa to activate your WIBC News Flash Briefing skill.
Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing. From the WIBC mobile newsroom, this is local news for Indianapolis.
Gas Buddy says the statewide average.
Get the latest news updates on demand.
I'm Sean Herrick.
The administration should be going...
Stanley, 93
Chris Davis, 93 WIBC mobile news.
When you want your news in a flash, get it with no waiting with Alexa at 93 WIBC.
Tamer and Nigel here for friends at Window Nation. Back to school time is here, and Window Nation can help you get an A+ in savings right now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy and pay nothing until 2025. As the temperatures soar, so do your energy bills with old, inefficient windows. Stay cool, lower those bills, and raise the value of your home with new Energy Star efficient windows.
Window Nation has expertly installed over 1 million windows, rewarding and increasing value in over 150,000 homes, all with over 96% needing no follow-up service. That is an A+. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Buy 4, get 4 for free. There's no limit. Plus, make no down payment, no payments, no interest until 2025. You'll save big during Window Nation's back-to-school sale. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tom Hammer and Nigel sent you.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
Oh, he's mean.
And Casey Daniels.
She's kind. She's humble.
On 93 WIBC.
Now I wanna be your dog.
There it is. Who is this, Kevin?
This is the Stooges, Iggy Pop's old band.
Okay. You did come up with a good one. He knew we were going to be talking about dogs. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So does Bruce the dog get stressed out in the car when you go on car rides? Does he ever get in the car?
No, Bruce gets in the car when he goes to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce lives, so I had a buddy over last night and we were talking and we were sitting out on the patio and he goes, where's Bruce? And I said, well, he's in his room. Bruce has his own room at the house. And I said, you can see him if you want, but I said, it's basically the way he looks on social media is the life that he lives. Bruce has a window and he has his own bed and he lays on his bed in front of the window so that the sun may bathe him by day.
Yeah.
And Bruce moves for really 3 reasons: water, food, or the bathroom. And that's about it. And so, no, Bruce travels very well.
He just sleeps through it, I
when
bet.
he goes to bed, he will get in the car, he will go to bed. He knows when he's going. Bruce, my bulldog is weird because he craves attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, owners, they say dogs usually tend to
Are
take
like
on
their owner.
Their owner. He dominates everything that he comes in contact with and craves attention. I don't know where he got that from. But
does he also slobber all over the place?
He does. Yes.
You haven't put a picture of Bruce on your Twitter account in a while.
I've got one. Maybe I'll have to do that this weekend. But he likes going to the vet, I think, because he knows he gets lots of attention because the vet people, because it's a bulldog, and they are drawn to people are drawn to bulldogs. That's why they're in commercials so much. So even though he's getting poked and prodded, I don't think it bothers him. So no, he travels fine.
He likes it. Well, if you have a dog that gets stressed out on long car rides, don't worry, just put on some Bee Gees. Yes, you heard me, the Bee Gees. Researchers are sharing the 10 most calming songs for dogs. And the 1977 hit, How Deep Is Your Love, tops the charts.
How do they know? What, did they ask the dog?
They did research.
Put your paw up if this is calming. Like, what do you... Like, how would you know the dog is calm?
His tail starts wagging more. I don't know. They did research. So it turns out that 2 in 3 dog owners say that their dogs get stressed out while traveling, right? This is a guy. He's in charge of music at the University of West London. He compiled the perfect playlist to soothe your dog's nerves in the car. Not only are the Bee Gees' How Deep Is Your Love a good song, but you can also add Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry to the list. How about Bryan Adams' Everything I Do It For You? And Foreigners, I Want to Know What Love Is. These are all soft rock songs, right? They said that. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Matt Hiblin, our boss, just sent us, on top of this, a press release that came out. This is your government at work, okay? So this is like an official government press release. Remember during the debate when Holcomb's like, we have cut government to the bone? And he was like, there are no more cuts of our 29,000 people. We have cut government to the bone. $37.5 billion budget. There is no room left to cut. This is what your government's doing with your money. Press release.
Yeah.
Sent to us by our boss, Matt Hiblin. Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch, the Indiana Destination Development Corporation, and Indiana's first dog, Henry, are searching for adorable dogs in great locations across the state through the Visit Indiana Cutest Dog Photo Contest. So this is what cutting to the bone means. And this is, and I like Suzanne. She's been on her show. She's very nice, but this is what she's doing. This is what our Lieutenant Governor is doing with her time. She's running the Cutest Dog Contest. Cut to the bone, state that works.
I encourage all Hoosiers to make memories with your pup, just like I do with my dog.
That's fine. Nobody has any problem with it. But is this really a good use of our state resources? That this is what our Lieutenant Governor, isn't there like a farming issue that needs addressed? Or, heaven forbid we get back on trying to curb executive authority.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what the prize is for the winning dog?
What is the prize?
The winning dog will get a note from Henry Holcomb.
Oh boy,
Indiana's first dog.
Yeah.
How do you get a note from a dog?
What does the note say?
Print?
What does the note say? Sorry, my dad raised all the taxes, which made it harder for your owner to buy food. All the best, Henry. Is that what the note says?
What if Bruce won? So hypothetically speaking, if he won it,
oh my gosh, you should totally campaign for Bruce to win the cutest dog.
Here's the thing though, and you see this with it happens with kids sometimes of prominent people. Given Bruce's relatively high profile and the fact that he is my dog, that dog will never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never win anything that is in which the victor is doled out by the state, anybody with the state of Indiana.
Well, not with that attitude, he won't.
That's right, Kevin. He could also get the More to Discover in Indiana dog bandana and be featured as one of the cutest dogs in Indiana on the Visit Indiana social channels.
Now, am I wrong to say, though, that like this is what our elected officials are doing with their time? Like, this is the state that works. This is where the lieutenant governor's resources are going towards.
Well, let's certainly hope they're not spending all of their time with that.
Well, and I get that maybe she's just lending her name. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a terrible person for thinking this is probably not the best use of the lieutenant governor's time.
81% of dog owners would change their in-car listening habits to ensure that their dogs don't go barking mad.
Joey Day in the chat. That would not serve Hoosier canines well.
Perfect. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Fine jewelry from Shane Company makes a great gift because it has so much sentimental value. It can hold a memory, carry a story, or signify a special event in your life. We design our jewelry in-house to ensure every piece is crafted to the highest standards. And we back that up with our free lifetime warranty. Whether you get a diamond necklace, a tennis bracelet, or a stunning 3-stone anniversary ring, Shane Company's classic styles have a beauty and elegance that will be appreciated forever. We also have trending new styles, like our 14-karat gold zodiac charms, fun paperclip chains, luminous opal earrings and pendants, as well as a truly special limited edition collection featuring cherry pink tourmaline sourced by Tom Shane. Make your gift even more special by personalizing it with a birthstone or an engraving. Capture your sentiment with a gift from Shane Company.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hello, Hoosiers. This is Congressman Greg Pence. It's an honor to serve the 6th District of Indiana. As a former Marine, I'm proud to serve you. As you all know, inflation is out of control. The Biden administration's policies are crushing our economy and crushing our wallet. I'm fighting every day against the Biden policies driving up the cost of groceries and utilities. In Congress, we need the federal government working for Americans, not against Americans. We need to curb runaway government spending to fight back against inflation. We need to support domestic energy production to lower gas prices. As your congressman, I will continue to fight on your behalf. Please visit pence.house.gov to learn more.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
My name is Taylor McLean, and my brother saved 5 lives. In 2016, when my brother, Hoosier race car driver Brian Clausen, tragically died in a racing accident, he became a hero because of his decision to be an organ donor. That decision has inspired countless others to do the same.
All of it was such a story, and the way it all connected together, every layer of it.
NASCAR champ Ryan Newman sat down with Indiana Donor Network and shared what inspired him to join the Driven to Save Lives movement.
The reality was he did a great thing, but the chain of events and how it affected other people, I believe, made him a legend. Made him somebody special, even more special than just being a race car driver, than just being a friend or a family member. When you're giving like that, you become legendary.
Join the movement and sign up as an organ donor at driventosavelives.org.
Hey, this is Eric with Marshall. Call us for all your HVAC system and service needs. We will custom tailor a plan for you.
Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Sitting and waiting. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Republican lawmakers want more than just the warrant to raid former President Trump's home released.
Earlier this week, we requested that they disclose to our committee the national security basis upon which that they have ordered this raid.
GOP Congressman Mike Turner, the Attorney General, has motioned that the warrant be made public. Trump has said that he's fine with it as well and has to sign a paper saying so by 3 p.m. today. The man who was killed after trying to enter the Cincinnati FBI field office may have been at the Capitol riots. Citing law enforcement, the New York Times reports investigators are checking whether Ricky Schiffer is connected to extremist groups, including one that participated in the unrest at the Capitol building. Schiffer is said to have been in a video at the Capitol a day before the riots. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
This really blew my mind.
Yeah.
If you were to line up 4 of your friends, 3 of them would say they were dissatisfied with the nation's direction. You're appreciating this song, aren't you?
Well, I just loved I said earlier, you can let this go for a second.
There I was.
Spill the wine? Don't spill the wine.
Eric Burden and Ward did this song, what it was, early 1970s. And in the beginning, it starts with this monologue. It's like a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, he just busts out that he was a long-haired leaping gnome.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found that just absolutely incredible. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But it's great.
I don't think I ever noticed that line until you pointed it out.
What's he say? That me, a long-haired leaping gnome?
Yeah.
I mean, of all the things to call yourself, I'm Fabio.
Sure you are.
I'm The Rock.
Yeah.
I guess The Rock wasn't a thing back then, nor was Fabio. But regardless, long-haired leaping gnome is an odd one to settle on.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, you just referenced. So Fox News has a new poll out that 75% of the country is dissatisfied with the direction of the country. And for prosperity, Fox News listed in April of 2021, it was 53%. December, it was 2021, 65%. February 2022, 68%. May, 67%. And now 75%.
Yeah.
So you saw growth.
Steady dissatisfaction.
Right. And this comes back to what I talked about, which is we are led to believe by the mainstream national media that despite poll after poll after poll, whether it's the economy or almost every facet of American existence, people are unhappy. But we are led to believe by the media because polling now, as we talked about, until about 3 weeks to go outside of the election, is a manipulation of an attempt, in many cases, to manipulate voter behavior. And you're led to believe, Democrats are racking up wins. They've got climate. They get, thanks to the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, they have the CHIPS Act. They have just win after win after win after win, and people are falling in love again with the Democrats. It's like the Kennedys and Camelot all over again. Yet poll after poll after poll after poll shows you that people are dissatisfied with the country. Now, when in the history of ever have people who are dissatisfied with the direction of the country, and there's one party exclusively in power said, let's keep going with our dissatisfaction? Was that what the Mick Jagger song said? I can't get no dissatisfaction?
No,
I think he said he wanted satisfaction.
Well, you're not going to get it with the Biden crime family. I mean, they're sitting there in South Carolina right now in a $20 million beachfront mansion, not paying a dime to stay there. And you know what else is really irking me about that, Rob?
What's that?
Hunter Biden, that loser kid,
yes.
He's flying around on Air Force One and then staying with old Pop, the big guy, in this multi-million-dollar mansion on the beach.
Casey.
It's all good. No problems here.
Casey, calm down. Let me mansplain this to you for a minute.
Could you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Clearly, the FBI and the Department of Justice and law enforcement very busy raiding Donald Trump's house. And until we get these 87,000 new IRS agents, the federal government is stretched very thin. And so we can only tackle one thing at a time. So I'm sure, just because of the preponderance of evidence of how corrupt, underhanded, drug dealer. There's a litany of things we could meet. There's videotape, right? I'm sure they are just so focused on raiding Mar-a-Lago that they will get to the Biden crime syndicate, which was handed to them on a platter via the laptop from hell in short order. One thing at a time, though, until we get those 87,000 IRS agents.
Well, you know how I feel about presidential vacations. It's the intro to our show every single day. Suck it up. You asked for this gig. It's 4 years. Just do it. And this isn't a short stay either. But someone, please keep Joe Biden off of a bicycle.
By the way, in this poll, Fox News, again, where we are led to believe by the mainstream national media that society is falling in love with the Democrats all over again, and they will hold the Senate.
That's why they got booed when they got off Air Force One, but
gains,
go ahead.
They will maybe hold the House. Maybe now Biden will run for re-election and win. 91% of independents dissatisfied with the direction of the country. That's who decides most of the elections, I was told. So,
independence.
This will either be the most groundbreaking election ever in which everyone in the country is royally honked off at the party exclusively in power and they will keep voting for them, or this is, as polling often is, mind manipulation, voter manipulation designed to shape opinion, and it will all change in the final 3 weeks.
The sub-headline for this story, by the way, most see no signs of economic rebound.
Well, and when you have no hope, that is also a good way to motivate people to go to the polls on your behalf.
Yeah. Okay, so I ran to Twitter just as quickly as I could.
Yes, you were
when
very
I heard
excited
the
about
news.
this, yes.
Tommy Lee of Motley Crue fame went full frontal on Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, this is Tommy Lee. He was married to Pam Anderson. He's the drummer for Motley Crue. He was famously filmed having intercourse. Casey, do you know, not that I would know from personal experience, but do you know how slow that video was to download in the early days when dial-up internet was what you had at your disposal? Do you know the window? Let's look, I'm not saying this happened to me, Casey, but let's say you got off junior high school at 2:50, okay? And you knew your parent was going to get home, I don't know, 4:30-ish. In the days, now today this would be no big deal, but do you realize the time crunch you were on? It was something like out of a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible video where you had to walk home, you didn't have a car, so you had to run home, get to the computer, maneuver the dial-up internet, get the video downloaded.
I can hear it right now.
View the video download, and then get the browser history deleted. That is like an hour and a half window, Casey. Do you realize at 13 years old, the odds of being able to pull that off on a consistent basis?
Were you successful?
I didn't say it happened to me.
Just trying to get an admission. I'm sure Mrs. Rob's mom is so proud right now hearing all of this. So Tommy Lee, 59 years old.
Yeah.
Not shy about his body. You know, the memes have been really fantastic.
Yes.
The picture has been, the actual nude has been taken down from Instagram.
That's a violation of their whatever.
And there are terms of service. So
what
we're left with are...
He's naked in a bathtub. Look, again, I'm not going to admit that I have already seen Tommy Lee nude before this photo was released, but 59 is a little old to be doing a nude, right? That's a little old.
Possibly. Tommy Lee, he looks dirty.
You've got kind of a twinkle in your eye when you talk about Tommy Lee.
He's a dirty boy. I'm not a fan of the nipple piercings, but, you know.
Everybody makes a couple of mistakes in their life. Is that what I'm hearing?
Still kind of sexy. Yeah. Okay, coming up, we're going to talk to James Sieniak. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big Hammer and Nigel Show Beer Sample Friday today. Dan Dockich will join us, and the latest about the raid. That's today, 93 WIBC.
The Great Resignation is a new and demanding challenge for employers. Beyond recruiting and retaining talented employees, you must understand their changing needs for personalized, non-traditional employee benefits. If you approach and deliver your benefit program as you did a decade ago, McGowan Brabender can help. We are reimagining the employee benefit journey to meet this challenge. It's time to thrive, not just survive. Contact McGowan Brabender to learn more.
Feeling offbeat? Franciscan Health's nationally recognized heart team can help keep the beat of your heart steady. If you've been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation or an irregular heartbeat, Franciscan's personalized approach to heart care can help you reduce your risk of stroke, heart failure, and other complications from AFib. So tune in, because the tempo of your heart matters. Find your heart's rhythm again by scheduling an appointment at franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm. That's franciscanhealth.org/restore the rhythm.
Hammer and Nigel here for friends at Window Nation. Back to school time is here, and Window Nation can help you get an A+ in savings right now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy and pay nothing until 2025. As the temperatures soar, so do your energy bills with old, inefficient windows. Stay cool, lower those bills, and raise the value of your home with new Energy Star efficient windows.
Window Nation has expertly installed over 1 million windows, rewarding and increasing value in over 150,000 homes, all with over 96% needing no follow-up service. That is an A+. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. Buy 4, get 4 for free. There's no limit. Plus, make no down payment, no payments, no interest until 2025. You'll save big during Window Nation's back-to-school sale. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
My name is Kayla Sinders, and I work for Gleaners Food Bank. I am a local service manager for 3 counties in our 21-county service area, and I nominated Katie.
And I'm Jiffy Lube owner Steve Sanner. At Jiffy Lube, we are proud to support Hoosier charities that use their vehicles to do more to make Indiana a better place to live.
My name is Katie Wilkerson. I pick up at the mobile food pantries. The best part of volunteering to hand someone some food and see the smile on their face, the relief. Without my vehicle, there's no way I'd be able to do this. To go to any of the pantries, it's at least 18 miles.
Jiffy Lube of Indiana provides all of our Do More winners with free vehicle maintenance for a year. Because now at Jiffy Lube, our trained technicians do more to keep vehicles like theirs and yours on the road. Brakes, tires, batteries, and more. As well as Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985.
If you know a volunteer who impacts your community, nominate them today to receive a year's worth of free vehicle maintenance. Just click the Do More tab at jiffylubeindiana.com.
49 million. That's the number of Americans that may be suffering from dry eye disease. Symptoms of dry eye disease can include dryness, burning, itchiness, or a sandy, gritty sensation. Eye care professionals in Columbus, Indiana, are currently enrolling volunteers in an investigational eye drop study to research potential treatments. If you are experiencing any dry eye disease symptoms, you could be eligible to participate. In 6 visits over the course of approximately 15 weeks, you could participate in a clinical trial aiming to provide a more effective treatment for dry eye disease and receive compensation of up to $700. To learn more, please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP. That's 1-866-EYEDROP. 1-866-393-3767. Together, we can find better care for all. Please reach out to our team by calling 1-866-EYEDROP.
Here's Terry Stacy to tell you what's going on with WIBC.
Check out our website to see where the next Home and Garden Show on the road will be. We're live every Saturday starting at 9 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Be sure to tune in to Pat, Denny, and the gang on 93 WIBC. And follow WIBC on your favorite social media channels to stay up to date on breaking news, traffic updates, and weather. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Marian University Preparatory School is a faith-based online private school currently enrolling grades 6 to 9. Financial aid is available. Visit k12.com/Marian, k12.com/MARIAN.
Hey, yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. He actually answers questions, Rob.
Yes, it's a novel concept for someone running for public office.
We're talking about James Sieniak. He's running for U.S. Senate.
Well, you know the old saying, Casey, from the very famous movie It's a Wonderful Life. Every time Todd Young loses a vote, an angel gets its wings. You remember that, right? When they're on the Christmas tree at the end? Mm-hmm. Isn't that what they said? Every time Todd Young loses a vote, an angel gets its wings?
Rob lassos the moon, sure.
So, yes, our old pal James Sieniak, Libertarian nominee for U.S. Senate. Of course, the Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young, will come on Tony's show. He will not come on our show. So we are left to just ponder what Todd is thinking. And, well, that's a dangerous thought when you believe adding $11 trillion to the national debt is a noble cause. So we had our old buddy Sieniak come by. We'll talk about what's going on, the direction of the campaign. Here's that conversation. So, James, I'm curious, when you are out, because you are everywhere, you are all over the place, and people come up and talk to you, what are the things they want to talk about in regards to a U.S. Senate race?
They absolutely have many issues that are on their mind. Inflation is still number one. It's been number one since I've started running, and it's really concerning Hoosiers' wallets, and they're ready for something different. Spending has been another one, and honestly, the Second Amendment has been a huge issue. Hoosiers are really concerned with Todd Young's vote, and they are now looking for alternatives.
It's interesting you said that because your signs now have references to the Second Amendment, and not to say that you would want to be a politician, but you are running for public office, and obviously you take advantage of where your opponent's shortcomings are. That was a big deal. People are really mad, especially on the right, about Todd Young's vote as it relates to gun control.
I absolutely believe as a public servant, our first mission is to defend the Constitution. And there's ways to amend the Constitution, but they're not talking about that. They're weakening the words. They have issues with the Constitution itself. So Todd Young weakened the wording on the Constitution by promoting red flag laws for all the states. And so this is a huge issue that I knew he was weak on. I was going to take it to him, and I'm excited to debate him when he does agree to a debate, which he has yet to agree to a debate, which amazes me.
He has not agreed to debate Rob Kendall either. But since we are talking about the Duke of Spendingburg, you were less than tickled about his vote on the PAC Act.
The PACT Act, so it does have some spending pork, but the issue is the flip-flop. And originally he voted for it, and then he was one of the 25 senators that on a technical error, they had a revote, and he switched his vote just because he was simply mad at Democrats.
Now, the PAC Act, tell everybody what this was.
So the PAC Act is what gives veterans more care, especially when it concerns for the burn issue, and there's specific issues they're addressing with veterans' cares. And veterans were really upset that the 25 senators, the Republican senators, flip-flopped their vote. It originally passed. They had no issue with the spending pork in it in the first place, and then originally passed. That technical error happened. The 25 switched their vote, then they saw the public backlash, and then they revoted. And
this is the Jon Stewart thing that he was upset about. And so here is my issue with this, and help me understand how you would handle these sort of things. It's not that we're spending money. It's that we never stop spending money somewhere else. Like if you want to spend $1 billion on something, reasonable people can agree or disagree whether that's a good use of taxpayer money. But they never ever say, okay, yeah, we're going to do that, and it's a new expense, so we're going to stop spending the money over here. They just keep throwing money on, and they act like there's some sort of nobility in spending as much money as they possibly can.
Well, there's a couple of issues. The first one is we need one bill statements. So that's passing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And when we are talking about veterans issues, those are absolutely important. My vet care plan is absolutely essential to get the veterans the health care that they need. And it has no spending pork on it. So it's the idea that they take control of their health. We give them that through something similar to a health savings account, but it's called a Veterans Personal Care Account. It's a plan that my team designed, and we are working on the details of that. But we want to put the veterans' health in their hands. We want to give them control of that so they can choose whatever doctor best meets their needs, whatever location is most convenient for them, and they don't have so much red tape when they want the care that they need. So my plan is better than even the PACT Act itself, but it's the idea that Todd Young is okay spending billions on a semiconductor industry that already is flourishing. They're already doing well, and then he goes and spits on veterans' faces.
Our James Sieniak is, I like that. I'm going to use that. Can I steal that? He spits on veterans' faces?
Spits on veterans' faces.
You know, we like to insult politicians the way they insult the public, James, so we're not above stealing somebody else's clever phrase. James Sieniak, the Libertarian nominee for U.S. Senate, is our guest. So you said he will not debate you, and Jeff Moore, the Libertarian, is running into the same deal with Diego Morales in the Secretary of State's race. What is the deal with these Republicans who control everything and have every advantage from money to infrastructure and all points in between being afraid to debate opponents?
I don't know. It shocks me that the Democrats have more courage on this issue at the moment. Tom McDermott put out that he's willing to do up to 9 debates, and I sent a press release saying, 3 I think is reasonable. I think that gives the public plenty of material to base their views on and their vote on. And Todd Young has yet to respond to any debates, and we're talking the official debate committee. So when they're in negotiations with all 3 campaigns, Todd Young's the only one who has not responded to it yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not talking about, we want to have a debate and we want Rob Kendall and Casey Daniels to moderate the debate. You're talking about, like, let's have these middle-of-the-road people interest in, I mean, they obviously have an interest in who wins or loses because they're into public policy, but people who will be fair in the way they ask the questions, and he won't even do that.
Yeah, and honestly, as a third party, I don't know if anyone's going to be fair to libertarians, but I'm still willing to go into whatever moderator comes on. And Todd Young's silent, completely silent.
What is a campaign like for you? We were talking about before you came on the air. You're doing very well, and I don't mean this as an insult, but I mean, let's face it, there are competitive advantages that the two old parties have. You're doing very well by libertarian standards. But we made the point, Todd Young has infinite money at his disposal because of the favors he hands out, because of all the money he's spent. He has and can acquire infinite money from donors, lobbyists, etc. So what is it like for you trying to run a statewide campaign, given the restrictions you have that you have not and will not hand out favors, in votes in exchange for various favors?
Well, look, if I believe that I'm going to represent the people and I'm going to represent the people's money, I'm okay with having less money and being reasonable with it, being accountable with it, not spending ridiculous waste. And that's what a lot of these campaigns do. He has $13 million in his account right now. And if you translate that to how many votes he actually needs, he needs just over 1 million votes. So it's crazy how much lobbyists put into this. And he's showing who he's representing, and that's the lobbyist. I represent the people. I understand the people are tight on money right now. Inflation's hurting everybody. So I have to be very accountable, very strategic with every dollar. And that's just part of how I'm going to represent us in Washington, D.C. So that's part of my campaign, and it's my promise to the Hoosiers that we will represent your money well in Washington.
James, we like to humanize our candidates, and Rob...
or dehumanize
them. Yeah, so Rob likes to say, this is why I am the way I am. Quickly, tell us, why are you the way you are?
Well, I appreciate that. I've been all about people. People is what I want to serve, and in my career, I'm a behavior therapist, so I really want to advance people and create an environment where they are the best to their ability. So whatever that looks like for them. And for me, it's kids with autism. So I take an incremental approach. I say, look, what are the challenges they're facing? What can we do better for them? And to me, that personal level, that personal interaction, I get to see them exceed all expectations, their family's expectations, and become the best that they are. That's what I want to create in Indiana. I want to create an environment where Hoosiers can be the best that they are. I know Hoosiers are amazing, and we all do everything we can, but with an environment from Washington, D.C. that's over-restricting, they're over-regulating, we see some of that being infringed upon, and Hoosiers need more freedom.
Before I let you go, I'm sure you were aware on this show, Casey is the angel and I am the devil. And that's how we balance each other out very well.
I'm the lightness.
Casey is
the darkness.
Totally sweet, deserves every award under the sun, and I deserve to live in a cardboard box. That being said, am I too mean to the old Duke of Spendingburg, Todd Young? I mean, should I be nicer to him, or is he getting exactly what he deserves on this show?
So look at his record, and that's what I tell people. His record indicates who he is, and he's not representing Hoosiers' dollars. He clearly was okay flip-flopping on veteran issues, and ultimately he's representing the Republican Party and the Washington elite. And so, no, I think that when we look at his record, we need to push back on him. We need to understand and let people know that this election isn't his. He's acting as if he doesn't even have to campaign, and he's acting like he can spend his way into another 6 years. And so this is something that we do need a pushback on Todd Young.
I'd take that as a keep going Rob Kendall.
Yeah, let's do it. The Duke of Spendingburg. Hey, you got a website if people want to learn more about you, Facebook page, all the things the kids do these days?
Absolutely. My social media team wants me to mention my Twitter. Twitter is an important part. Facebook's an important part. James Sieniak for U.S. Senate, Sieniak for Senate on Twitter. And then my website has a lot of policies. It has a lot of media interviews as well that you can research, www.sieniakforsenate.com. That's SCENIAKFOR, Senate.com.
These libertarians all went to the same school because you notice Moore does that too. He always spells his name out, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with a name like Sieniak, it's not like Miller where everybody knows how to spell it.
So you've got something coming up August 21st, 10 until 6 at the Lake County Fairgrounds. It's the Crown Point Gun Show. You're going to be there. You're going to be answering questions from constituents, and you invite everybody to show up and meet you, huh?
Absolutely. Gun shows and 4-H fairs are great ways to meet people in their community. Talk about the issues that are important to them. Gun shows, it's not just about guns. There's many other issues that come up. And I love meeting people in their own community. I don't think people have to come to Indy to see me or interview with me. And I just love going into people's communities. Evansville, my heart goes out to what happened there. But I've been down there 5 times, and I've been told no other candidate has been down here, James. You're the only one coming down. So to me, it's important that we go to all over the state because that's who I'm going to represent.
Well, luckily gas is cheap, so it's easy for you to travel around right now. James Sieniak, Libertarian nominee for U.S. Senate. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you, Rob. Excellent job, Kevin. And thank you for listening. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Monday.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings.